What's up? Dude, what the hell do you have on?
I have on my derby gear. That's what I have on. You
Why?
know, because it's the Derby weekend. That's why. And I am celebrating the Kentucky Derby with my seersucker and a mint julep. That's what I'm doing.
You look
So no,
absurd.
only somebody who shops at J.C. Penney big and tall would think so.
I don't know who that is, but
That's you.
you're
Let's go.
you're past. You look like a pastel pimp.
Well, if the suit fits.
Oh God, I just can't with you.
I
What's
can't
up,
with you.
everybody? You're here for another Friday edition of our late night happy hour Wakanda whiskey and blurredom. I'm your host Paul. With me, as usual, is my partner Marc. I assume that's him. He's dressed
Slancha.
like that. But what's up? Who's in our chat right now? We got Robert Monroe up in the chat. Good evening, BCLs. I think the free comic book day Marvel Voices will have a Black Panther story in it. One would hope. The only story I saw listed in the solicits was something about Spider-Man India. So I don't know what's going on.
And for those who don't know, tomorrow is free comic book day. So hit up your local comic book store so you can pick up free books that they make specifically for this event. They also uh, have your comic book stores also will have deals and sales because they know a lot of people come in on those days. For me, for the main comic book store that I go to, they're having a 50% off sale on all their back issues. So I plan on hitting up about 3 stores tomorrow.
I'll probably do at least 2 stores. I'm gonna take my daughter, get up early, and hit up some LCSs. Hype style. Salute everyone at Black Comic Lords. Thank you, sir. Armistead Guathany. Hey, BCL Brooklyn Capricorns in the building. Bro, I was in BK this weekend. Where were you? Why weren't you at the Schomburg in Harlem, man? I didn't see you out there. I told you to hit me up. Frustrated fan show on time? What? Are you kidding me? I missed the last 2 streams? Wow.
Exactly. Frustrated knows what's up.
Okay.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Quando.
Quando Dwayne Ditterfield likes your fit and your brim. Pericles Dragon Balls. What's good? What's really good, fam? What's good? Bot Boy versus. Good evening.
Let me do this.
Gaming Wallace Hat. Good evening. Good evening. L Dog. Yo to you as well. I'm getting all the books. Yeah, you got to hit up all the books, man. I'm going to use my daughter and make sure she said that daddy's got a certain list of books that you need to pick up. You can get what you like, but you got to get some books for daddy too, so I can make sure I double up on, make sure I get all my books. Pay no attention to Paul, bro. On the continent, they would call your outfit dandelion.
I like that.
Well, emphasis on the dandy.
Hey, that's all right. The ladies love it. What's going on, Sunny Night?
I don't necessarily drink Alizé, but I'm going to leave that alone. Good evening, all. Sunny night. Oh, yeah, and thanks for the shout out on the Black Vulcan video. That was Herschel. That wasn't me. Herschel does the funny videos. Darius Crosby. Cello, BCL. What's up, my boy? My fellow BK brother from President Street. Darius Crosby up in the building. Got to hang out with that brother this weekend at Schomburg Black Comic Book Festival. An event, honestly, if you have the opportunity, you've got to go to the Black Comic Book Festival at the Schomburg in Harlem, New York. It's the blackest comic event you could ever go to. I mean, imagine going to a Black Comic Book Festival on Malcolm X Boulevard and Lenox Ave at the Schomburg, which literally rests on the ashes of Langston Hughes. It doesn't get any blacker than that. It was a spectacular, well done event, well attended, well received. Um, I had a ball this weekend. I had an absolute ball. I even picked up some. This is our Wakanda whiskey show. I got some Black Panther work from an artist.
Oh, that's cool.
At the event, this is going to go up on the wall. Love it, love it. I got this from the artist Damian Scott. If you don't know who Damian Scott is, shame on you. Google it. And of course, the piece I showed in our live earlier this week, my prized possession, I got original art piece by the OG GOAT himself, Larry Stroman. I'm very proud of that piece. So, yeah, man. Had a fantastic time this weekend. Had a fantastic time. So what's new with you, man? What's going on with you? Your Derby was the Derby start this weekend or does it start today?
Yeah, Derby events start. For those who don't know, the Kentucky Derby's been going on now for 90-something years. It's a big horse race. It's the first race in the Triple Crown. It's the Kentucky Derby. It's Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and I can't remember what the third one is, but events start on Thursday and run all the way up until the event is run tomorrow. So, yeah.
You said it's a 90-year-old history?
90 plus. Kentucky Derby's been running for a while.
So it's been running since Jim Crow.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it has.
Were Black people at it during Jim Crow?
Probably not.
I'm sure they were there. Someone has to serve them.
They were probably in the stables.
Someone has to serve the mint juleps.
Speaking of, this is a pretty damn tasty one. We always start off with what we're drinking. And for me, it's this Four Roses that I'm about finished with.
Four Roses is smooth. Very light on the tongue. Sweet. No burn. It's a very, very nice whiskey.
I like the small batch better, but this single barrel, the straight bourbon is pretty good too. Yeah.
Frustrated says the Black people were the jockeys back then. That's facts.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not drinking anything because I've been sick for over a week now. So I'm loaded up on a bunch of meds. It says, do not mix this with alcohol. The effects could be detrimental to your health. So I am having some straight up cream soda. Some diet cream soda. Let's see. Robert says some of the first Derby riders were Black. That is true.
Yeah.
Louisiana Kid, welcome. So, if you're watching this video, you probably saw our thumbnail, which says, "Is T'Challa dead? Is T'Challa dead?" I guess we're gonna what do you want to start with? We want to start with Ultimate Black Panther. I'll tell you what. Let's go in chronological order. Let's do Ultimate Black Panther number 3 first. We didn't get to do it over the last 2 weeks. My fault. I've been busy. I've been out of town, traveling, doing what have you. So we did not get to do a review of Ultimate Black Panther 3. So let's start with that.
We always start off with Black Panther and Ultimate Black Panther.
We always start out with Black Panther
Of
first.
course, it's good. Brian
we'll
Hill
hop into Blade, then we'll hop into
Akogun first. Well, after Ultimate Black Panther.
Then Blood Hunt.
Yep. 3.
All right. Issue number. Oops, that's 2. Issue number 3 had a number of covers. The first cover, of course, was the one that emphasized the importance of this issue, which is the first full-on appearance of Storm in this issue, who is known as Wind Rider. There's a Peach Momoko cover with emphasizing her new style in this design variant.
She looks real young there.
She looks very young. Peach Momoko because everybody makes everyone.
I can't say that I'm a huge fan of her work.
I'm not. Yeah, she's look.
Hold on a second. Hold on. She does the Ultimate Spider-Man. I didn't mean that. Ultimate X-Men, and I picked up #1 because I love the Ultimate Universe. So I got #1, read it, was not impressed with the story, and definitely was not impressed with her art. To me, it's rather kiddie. If she wants to do something on Moon Girl, that to me she seemed more geared towards the tweens, and I'm just not a huge fan of her style. She can draw, obviously better than I can, but that's not my vibe.
She's an excellent artist with a unique style that everyone can appreciate and recognize. I just personally, just my own personal opinion, am not a fan of the way she necessarily draws black people. This was the 1 in 25 Scan Srizwan. I'm probably butchering that name. Sri Swan variant. This is a dope cover with T'Challa and his wife Okoye.
Oh, that's nice.
This is the second printing. Imagine that. They have second printings coming out the same time as the first printing.
This book is doing really well.
The book is doing really well. The pre-orders are going well. This is what happens with the power of pre-orders, y'all. You got second printings coming out the same time as the first printing. And when they do the second printing, they blessed us with a special one by Boss Logic, who's a phenomenal artist. Check out his work on Twitter or what have you, on social media. Man's an incredible artist. He did this. I'm not even certain who this is supposed to be. This actually looks like Killmonger. Look at the axe. Killmonger has the axe in his hand. You see the dreads behind his head, behind the mask. I think this is Killmonger. So yeah, tell me your thoughts on this book.
I mean, I love it. Because the book came out a couple of weeks ago, there will be spoilers, so don't be the least.
Oh, we spoiled the hell out of this. Where's my? Hold on, let me get and play my spoiler video. Let's see if Derek hooked us up with easy to find. I'm looking for it. Looking for it. Should be in alphabetical order. Derek, right? Alphabetical. No. I thought you took care of this, man.
While he's doing that, basically he was getting ready to play the
10-second
spoiler video. Go ahead.
Marion, don't look at it. Shut your eyes, Marion. Don't look at it no matter what happens.
All right, before we get started, I need everyone who's watching us right now to hit the like button. We got to get our likes up on this channel. We need to help our algorithm. If you can share it to other people, share it on social media, share it anywhere. Really appreciate it. We're trying to increase BCL's reach. If you dig us, help us to continue to do the stuff for you by hitting the like button, sharing the video. If you're not subscribed to our channel, we're like 50 people away from being at 3,000 viewers. 50. Just 50. If I can get 50 of y'all, we've got almost 50 people watching us right now. If you're not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel. Help us reach that 3,000 mark. I want to get that 3,000 mark by the end of this month. Thank you very much. So, tell me your thoughts.
Well, of course, I like the book. I love the book. At the beginning of the book, right? So going back to issue number 2, T'Challa is out in the wilderness by himself, which I think is rather dumb, but he is who he is. And Wakanda is under attack by a couple of dudes collectively known as Moon Knight, Ra and Khonshu. They are attacking Wakanda. T'Challa had a couple of his boys, his spies out there who figured out what they were doing. So T'Challa, instead of taking some people with him, he decided he can do everything by himself. So apparently T'Challa has been missing for like a month, I think, right? He's been away from the Golden City. He's been away from the capital for about a month. Nobody knows where he is. He's not been checking in. He's just out there doing his own thing. So just imagine if President Biden just went missing for a month and nobody knew where he was. That's the equivalent of what's going on. And of course, back home, Shuri, his little sister, is kind of running things along with Okoye, his bride, his wife. And the two of them are having a discussion. Okoye rolls up on Shuri as she's training, and the two of them have a dispute. And the two of them come to fisticuffs. I was not expecting that, and I was not expecting the result. The panel that you see right here, Shuri turns her back on Okoye. Okoye, no matter what you think, is the queen of Wakanda. Shuri, being brought up in the royal family, is like, I don't have time for this. I got to go. And Okoye is like, look, you need to respect my gangster. I am the queen of this nation. Don't turn your back on me. That's something, that's like a taboo no. You just don't do stuff like that. And so the two of them basically square off on the next couple of pages. And I like how in this book they have like 2 or 3 pages of just them fighting. I mean, there's no dialogue. That's the first part of this book is them fighting. And ultimately Shuri wins. Shuri knocks Okoye down. That's what the agreement was. The first person to fall loses. And so Okoye got put on her ass and Shuri won. So that was somewhat surprising because in the movie, we know Letitia Wright before Black Panther 2 was not the most physical, right? In the books, even though initially Shuri was going to fight for the mantle of Black Panther, she's not really known for her physical prowess. Yes, what's his name? Not Ridley, but what's my other guy's name? Coates. Coates had her turn into the Greer or whatever it was that he did, but ultimately over the run of the Black Panther series, Shuri has not been known for her physicality. Well, obviously, for the most part, other than in the Coates run, she's not been known.
In the Hudlin run, you skipped over. You mentioned briefly she did try to jump into the arena when to become the next Black Panther prior to her brother. Her brother leapfrogged ahead of her, but she fully intended to become the next Black Panther. And more so, the thing that people forget is that T'Challa and Shuri had the same father. They had the same training to become Black Panther someday. Although more recently, especially with the movie, Shuri has been portrayed as the scientist person.
She's been the woman.
But prior to that, in the Hudlin run, in Jonathan Mayberry run, in Doom War, you saw Shuri was fierce.
In the Doom, that is true. I'll take that back. You're absolutely correct.
Shuri was absolutely fierce as Black Panther.
You're right.
When Namor attacked, and the question became, do we clap back at Atlantis? And T'Challa's like, hey, we might want to be diplomatic. Shuri was like, yeah, we going to war and we murdering some people.
That is true because Shuri had a 12-issue run, and then she had a 4-issue Claws of the Panther run where she had the mantle of Black Panther after T'Challa was injured during the Doom War.
Even Wolverine gave her respect as a fighter.
Right.
In that Claws of Panther run.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. My mind has been more honestly on the movie and how she was portrayed there because I haven't read those issues in quite some time, and
that's why we're comic heads doing retrospectives on
right. That's just what I was going to say. I'm glad that we've been going back over the Priest run because I haven't read that stuff in 25 years since it came out, so it refreshes my recollection, as we say in the law business, about what happened with those characters. But yes, she has been a very physical individual. This plays up on that, and she is more than a match for Okoye, who is the queen. So I did enjoy that battle. But then after that, go ahead.
I just wanted to get to some of the comments in the chat. Frustrated Fan says, this has been a fantastic book.
Yep.
This book has had me hooked from page 1. Facts, big facts, Louisiana Kid. They're now dropping a 4th printing of number 1.
Wow.
There's never been a 4th printing of a Black Panther comic before. Like ever. Peach Momoko designed Storm and Killmonger's looks for Ultimate Black Panther. Okay.
That's cool, but I mean, she's not drawing it, and I like the way it's drawn now. So
Anthony Davis, damn. Relatively new to the channel, and I love BCL. Well, thank you, sir. We appreciate you. And for this, you're going to get my favorite super chat video.
See, when I think of Shuri, that's the Shuri that I think about from Black Panther 1. Yeah, we really got to hurry up and get through these so I can reread these books, man.
Thank you again, Anthony Davis, Frustrated Fan Show. Says congrats on becoming a Lord, joining the family. Appreciate you. Bo Biggs in the house. What's up, brother? How you doing? Derek also says thank you. What's up to Bo Biggs? Bo Biggs, Marc just coming back from Kentucky.
No, I'm here at home celebrating. I need to get there. I went once about 13 years ago, but I never went into the Derby because it started raining that weekend. Didn't even have tickets. Me and a friend of mine, we drove up, hung out in Louisville, had a phenomenal time. We were going to go into the infield, but it started raining that weekend. So we decided not to go. Just her and I just stayed in the hotel and did.
So let me get it straight. You didn't go to the Derby. You're not going to the Derby. You're sitting in your house, dressed like that, drinking a mint julep by yourself.
I am. Well, I'm not by myself. I'm with the Black Comic Lords. Now, next question. Exactly.
Sad life.
Nothing
we have another new member, Ada Toton. I know I'm butchering your name. I apologize. Akande, kind of new to the channel. Love it here. Thank you very much.
That name should sound familiar, Paul. That name should sound familiar, Paul.
Oh,
that name should sound familiar, Paul. And I have Paul.
Look. He has Ade Dotan, whereas the book says Dotan Akande.
Right. So
big fan of your work, man. I've been actually a fan of you and your partner since you guys were doing I Am Iron Man. I was a fan of that series. You guys did a fantastic job on that. I'm curious, though, how did you find out about BCL? This question goes to you and to Anthony Davis. Please let us know in the chat how you found out about us, because we're trying to make sure that we can spread the word and trying to see how people find out about us.
Mr. Akande found out about us because of me. I reached out to him. That's how he found out.
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to the fam. Frustrated also welcomes you. He gave us a Black Power fist. Appreciate you, bro. Derek says, "What's up? Thank you for joining." Bo Big says, "Shuri was the hothead pre-movie." Yes, she was.
Yeah, she absolutely was.
Yes, she was. Everyone forgets that.
I absolutely did.
Shuri had hands.
Yep. Let's go on with throwing hands.
Shuri be throwing hands. Believe that. Yes, sir. So it's starting to see more and more that Shuri may be the traitor, but I know there has to be a plot twist.
That's what I said from issue 1. I said that a long time ago.
This seems too obvious to make Shuri the traitor. I think there is some plot twist we don't know about. And Brian Edward Hill was not giving up anything in his interview.
Of course not.
Randall Brown or Okoye could be the mole.
Yeah,
that would be a hell of a twist. Hype style. Shuri should open up dojos United States.
Nah. Keep that over there in Wakanda.
Amir, 1 in 100 podcast. My man Shop has been racking up on all the secondary prints for Ultimate Black Panther. That's what's up. If any of y'all want to listen to a really dope podcast, check out the 1 in 100 podcast with our boy Amir. Kentucky Derby cosplay.
That's right. That's absolutely right. I like that. During COVID, I actually looked like Andre 3000 when I didn't have a haircut or a shave because I wasn't going to court.
You looked a lot rougher than that. Derek, H&H Comics, laughing his ass off at your look. Shout out to BCL from Dothverse. What's up, man? Mr. Akande says he appreciates the love. Appreciate your work, man. Amir appreciates it too. Anthony Davis says, I've been a collector of black characters for years and did a search on YouTube for topics on black characters. I came upon you guys. Love it. Oh, all right. That's what's up. It's nice to know we're doing some good things. So what else about this book did you love, man?
I mean, just the whole story, the way Brian Hill lays out a story. He is a very good storyteller. The art is spectacular. The artist is Stefano Caselli. Stefano Caselli is doing a magnificent job. I like the design of T'Challa. You know, I've mentioned before that there was a point in time the way T'Challa was drawn that I wasn't a fan of, but this version of T'Challa I absolutely love. I mean, there is nothing negative that I can say about this book, even though the only action so-called in this book was at the very, very beginning. The storytelling of T'Challa learning about things in Wakanda that he was not familiar with, that Storm and Killmonger knew about that he didn't.
Yeah, because he's been very isolated by being in such an isolated, cut-off world. This version of Wakanda is still not open to the rest of the world yet. So T'Challa himself is insulated by that reality. This discussion he has with Killmonger, it was kind of interesting. First of all, Killmonger seems to be portrayed as someone who's younger than him. So that's an interesting perspective and twist on their relationship. And you know, Killmonger says, I'm a son of Wakanda, but I have no desire to live there. T'Challa's like, how could you possibly not want to live in Wakanda? Because from his perspective, Wakanda's a utopia. And he says, look, you know, I got tired of sleeping in paradise while people who look like me suffered in the world beyond it. And I got tired of being told I should be proud to do so.
Yeah, that kind of plays on the whole Michael B. Jordan version.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because the original version was nothing like that. I recall was nothing like that. He just wanted to rule for the sake of ruling, from what I recall.
This is how you have brilliant writing. A theme that has always been in Black Panther comics is the fact that T'Challa's always been torn as being Black Panther in terms of being the symbol of his people and the protector of his people in Wakanda, but also wanting to be, in a larger sense, a hero to the world. He wants to protect people all over the world, in addition to his duties to Wakanda. And so he retorts, the Black Panther protects the innocent. But at this point, T'Challa's thinking about the Black Panther protecting the innocent. He's still singularly focused on Wakanda, and Killmonger is the one who's kind of opening his eyes to a larger world. So that's kind of an interesting exchange.
Yeah, I don't know that this version of T'Challa is aligned with the Avengers yet. I don't recall anything in this book.
I don't think he is.
Avengers, so.
And then, you know, shout out to Stefano Caselli, man. His artwork is nothing short of absolutely fantastic.
It's really good. It is really, really good.
It's so cinematic, man. I feel like I'm watching a movie. It's very much like they're doing what do you call it? Not screenshots.
Hold on a second.
Screenplay.
No.
Where they're laying out the
right, where they draw everything first before they film it. Give me a second. I'll think of it. But keep going.
This very line. There is so much more in Africa beyond Wakanda. You know, I almost want to quote this. Something we talk about in the space all the time when people criticize me personally and say, you always focus on Black Panther. There's other superheroes. Yeah, there are. It's my favorite superhero, and I'll never apologized for that. But it's kind of that debate. There is so much more to Africa beyond Wakanda. Kind of a deep line. And then finally, he's taken to a part of Wakanda he's never seen before, and is shown something that he can't identify, and we still don't know what
it is, who made it, where it came from.
It looks like a moon,
yeah,
and we know that he's fighting Moon Knight, which is collectively Khonshu, the god of the moon, and Ra, the god of the sun. And you have this object hidden in Wakanda He goes,
In a
Mother
temple, no
Bass, and
less.
he's like,
Hold
this
on.
ain't got nothing to do with
You're skipping
Bass.
over this, though. You're in a temple, an ancient temple that has probably been there for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And in his role as leader, he has never seen this before. That's kind of a big deal.
Not just the leader, but the acolyte of Bast. You would think he'd have a lot of intimate knowledge of ancient
You
stuff.
would think, right? You would think that he would know every blade of grass in his country, right? And this is something that he knew nothing about. But yet you have these so-called quote unquote strangers in the Wind Rider and Killmonger who knew everything well, not everything, but they knew that this place existed, they knew how to access it, and they brought him there. Um, what I like, you asked me what I think about this book. I now want to know what's about to happen next. He's teased us so much with this to say, this is kind of important, but wait till the next issue. And that's something that I like, in that I am actually looking forward to the very next issue. There are books that I've read or that we've read, and one of them we're going to discuss later on, where things happen in the current issue, and you know something obviously is going to happen in the story in the next issue, but in that particular book, I don't really care. In this one, I'm really, really looking forward to what's happening next. What did this mean? Brian Hill, has built up intrigue and suspense about the overall story. And I, as the reader, want to know what's going to happen. So I do like that.
Yeah. Frustrated says, what about the crazy Easter egg they laid on us?
I don't know what he's talking about.
Is he referring to this one? Which one are you referring to? Frustrated. T'Challa actually looks handsome in this series.
Right. During the Coach run, he looked haggard. And I understand that he was a slave, but I mean,
he was kind of enslaved, so
yeah, that can have an effect on you.
That has an effect.
Yeah, I just didn't like that version of T'Challa, but this one is a good one.
Amir says Brian Hill knows how to pace a story. I love that about his writing. Yes, absolutely, man. This man's killing this book right now. T'Challa and Killmonger is about to be in a Chris Breezy and Quavo battle for Storm.
That's funny.
Oh man. You know, at
for
some point,
old heads who don't know, Chris Breezy is Chris Brown, the R&B singer. Quavo, one of the three members of the Migos. For whatever reason, they're having a quote-unquote rap beef, even though Chris Brown is an R&B N-word. And it's been, lighting up the social medias and the Twitters over the past couple of weeks, along with now Drake and Kendrick are going at it for some reason. But that's hip-hop.
Louisiana says he loves the conversation with T'Challa and Storm.
Yep.
Only after Okoye is revealed to be the traitor.
Randall, I bet you $3 whole that it's not Okoye.
$3 whole American dollars.
Storyboarding. Thank you, 1-100. Thank you.
Storyboarding.
Yes.
Amir's a smart dude. Thank you. Kang was one of the statues at the opening of the cave.
Wait a minute. Go back. Hold on.
Hold up. Let me go back now. All right, frustrated. I see you.
Let's see.
I see you, bro. Let's take a look here.
Let me get on the specs. Hold on a second.
Let me go back. Take a look.
You know what? Bottom left.
Yeah, I see that bottom left.
Bottom left. That does.
And bottom right.
Right.
Gosh darn it, he might be right.
But okay, so basically that image does look like the way Kang's mask is. But in fairness, it could be something or someone else. But it does look similar. I won't say that that's Kang. I'm not going to say that that's Kang, but I do see why he would say that.
Here,
because that's clearly a female. Even though there are different Kang variants, some of them are female, some of them are what we would call aliens. I get that. I see where you're going with that, frustrated, but I'm not going to give you 2 gold stars on that yet.
That is a definite something of interest to watch and monitor in the future.
Right.
Good eye, man. Good eye.
Yeah.
Very much good eye. Now I'm going to have to reread the whole book yet again. Look for some more Easter eggs.
Yeah.
So, 1 out of 10, what would you give this issue?
12.5. I love the book that somebody else just wrote. I love the pacing. I love the anticipation for the next issue because I do not know what's going to happen. I do not know where this is going to go. I'm enjoying it.
He says there's a close-up. Oh, shit. Yeah, he's right. Gosh darn it. Let me show you this too. There is a close-up. I mean, they even emphasize it. They gave it its own panel.
I mean, I'm not
I don't know.
Nah, I'm not gonna go.
They gave the dude his own panel. You see T'Challa looking directly at it.
They did, but I'm not gonna say that that's Kang.
T'Challa's looking directly at dude.
I understand. I'm not gonna say that that's Kang though.
All right, you cannot say it. I think Frustrated is right.
Okay.
That seems way too obvious. That dead ass looks like Kang. That dead ass looks like Kang. All right. Frustrated called it. Frustrated called it. What do y'all think in the chat? Is that Kang or not? I call it Kang. I'm on Frustrated side. I think that's an Easter egg.
It may be. We'll see. Time will tell.
Time will tell, but we will say that Frustrated Fan Show called it out first. Damn, how'd I miss that? That's incredible. All right.
Commercial before we go into the next book, or keep going?
Say again?
Were you going to take a commercial before we go on to the next book, or we're going to keep going?
We're going to do a commercial break, and then we'll do the next book. Let's take out what the rest of the comments are, though. Vagrant says that looks like Kang's helmet mask style. I agree.
I don't disagree with that. I
Bo Big says have to agree. Randall says that ain't Kang.
See, yeah,
huh?
It could be. I mean, I understand why one would say that. I get that. It makes sense.
Amir got jokes.
Listen, Jonathan Majors is in the islands with Megan Good right now, so whatever.
Look, Jonathan Majors having a hard time getting some jobs right now. It makes sense that he would sneak himself into a.
You know what? Speaking of him, real quick, there is a movie that he did that has not been released and has been shelved, where he was an amateur bodybuilder. I don't recall what the name of it was, but I mean that whole situation. Don't even get me started on it. Has cost him so very much. 2023 was shaping up to be his year until Becky.
Oh, his career was skyrocketing.
Yes.
Just like Nate Parker's was.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. First, we called him King. I'm going to call him King.
Love it. All right. Listen, before we go to commercial, or as we're going on our commercial break, I need y'all to hit the like button. BCL is just 50 people away from hitting our 3,000 followers mark. Like the video, subscribe to our channel. New people who are just watching us for the first time, please hit the subscribe button. It helps our channel tremendously, helps our algorithm, helps us spread the word about BCL. And with that, we are going to go to a commercial break. I think we've got some new commercials that Derek said that he did. I don't see them, Derek. I don't see your new commercials, bruh. And if you put them here, you did not. Oh, well, man, let me call you out too soon. You might have done something right. Shout out to our producer extraordinaire, Dr. Wizard.
Hey, this is Jeff Carroll. I'm out here at the Black Comic Book Fest in Harlem, sharing my books and works with the Black Comic Lords. And one of the books that I have just came out is Fingernails, Book 2. It's a paranormal investigator thing, Scooby-Doo. And it's a girl that changes into a gargoyle. And she shows that all ghosts aren't bad. So she takes on different ghosts. In this one, she's dealing with ghosts in the projects. So I have a variety of titles. I have the Horror Shake series, which I've explored different short fiction stories. And what I do have coming out is in August. This will be in previews in July. The Last Harlemite takes place in a post-apocalyptic New York City, manga style, inspired by the series, the movie Akira. So please check me out. This is going to be in comic book stores My name is Jeff Carroll. You can check me online, Instagram, or Facebook. Nice to meet you. Let's do it. Everything's fine.
This is Derek Harrison of Black Comic Lords, and I'm here with Greg Burnham. You might know him from Tuskegee Airs. He's got several other titles, and this is a new one that's coming out in November.
November 22nd, Little Rock Files. It was a story that we originally did in Noir is the New Black, which is an awesome anthology y'all need to get if you don't have it. But we did a 6-pager in there, and we ended up getting asked to do a full book. So the interiors, I'm holding this one. These are 2 of the covers. The interiors are being done by Quinn McGowan, who did this book. Who did this poster cover. And then Marcus Williams, my co-creator on Tuskegee Airs, he did the art for this cover. And we also put like our original 6 pages in the book, just so you can have everything that we've done so far. It's a 1980s noir detective story that takes place in Little Rock, Arkansas. We actually put some reference some real things that were going on back in the time as far as the drug trade and dirty governors that turned into presidents, but that's a different story. Check it out, November 22nd. It will be in comic shops. If your shop didn't order it originally, get in there and ask them to get you a copy. We're trying to do some really good stuff with this book, and we appreciate you.
Well, all right. Where are we next?
Akogun.
All right, so let me pull that up.
So while he's doing that, getting the screen grabs or whatever, this book, Akogun was written by Mr. Conde, who, and I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. I know that I'm not, but forgive my American tongue. But Paul put me onto this book. I think it dropped. This is May, like somewhere towards the beginning of April.
April 2nd.
I'm sorry?
April 2nd.
April 2nd. So when Paul was describing this book to me, he basically said, since I like Thor, I would probably like this one. And he was correct. Before Black Panther, hold on, go ahead and go to the comments, and then I'll wait till we get done with that.
Magazine Dreams, it's a Disney movie, Marc.
I don't know.
Jonathan Majors was great in Black San Francisco.
That movie was odd. I watched it recently. That was an odd movie, but he's a brilliant actor. And Magazine Dreams is the bodybuilding movie, yeah.
And Mr. Akogun is now subscribed to our channel. Thank you, sir.
Looks exciting. Okay.
All right. And we have a super chat. Let's finish this up, and then we'll jump to our super chat. Go ahead. Do your Akogun.
Okay. So, like I was saying, Paul put me onto this book. He knows that I like Thor. Thor and Black Panther are like my 1A, 1B favorite superheroes. This book is about a god. And from the outset, I love how the story was put together. I enjoy the art of it. It's a hefty book. It's got a little heft to it. And I reached out to Mr. Akonde on the Twitters.
It's 40 pages. That's
yeah. This book has got some heft to it. Basically, it's about a pantheon. It's about an African pantheon. And what it reminded me of, and I read this about 2 or 3 weeks ago, so not everything is fresh in my memory. But one of the things that it reminded me of, there's a Thor book. It's an annual. And there is a character known as Atum the God Eater, if I'm not mistaken. He is the child of not Hera, but what's the Earth goddess? Not Hera.
Gaia.
Gaia. Thank you. She is the child of Gaia, and I don't know who the father is, but he lives basically up in the sun, and he's known as the demiurge, something like that. And he comes down to planet Earth, and he just basically eats demons. And this book reminded me of that, and that is in the Thor world. But you have this character who is by himself, taking out monsters and everything. But then you see his backstory, and it's just, oh, I like that cover. But it's
It's a
just
David
very,
Mack cover.
very good. I mean, you have these gods, and you have humans serving them. And this is one of the things that I told Mr. Akonde. There's some of it that I was somewhat confused about because I wasn't sure who the story was about or who was speaking in certain points. But it's a very, very solid read. The art is spectacular. The fact that it is, black characters, a black pantheon, something that we don't see really in mainstream comics. In entertainment, we had the gods of Egypt with white gods in it, which didn't make any sense. But if you like mythology, and when I say mythology, I'm talking about like Roman, Greek mythology, Norse mythology, which Thor is based on, this is something that you should like. It's very, very well written. The art is good. I kind of like the somewhat of a pastel colors feel to it. The only criticism that I have is we're not going to get issue number 2 until June. I want to say, Paul, this book issue 2 drops on your birthday, I think.
Yeah,
your
I believe
birthday
so. I think you're right.
Yeah. And so I believe that we may very well we can, if you're available that week, can have a special guest that Friday if you are available.
Well, are you talking about me as a special guest?
No, Paul, you're nothing special.
Clearly. Yeah, Mr. Akonde, I won't say no to a signed copy of issue number 1 of Akogun for my birthday.
Here's what I'd like to know. What time is it? Because he's in Nigeria. What time is it where you
are? Is he in Nigeria?
Yeah, he's in Nigeria.
Oh, look, his partner is on there too.
Yeah.
Nurea Ayodele. What's up,
Yep.
man? I'm so happy you enjoyed the read. Dotan and I deeply love the Orisha Pantheon.
I loved it. I'm a huge. When I was a kid, I was raised an only kid for 13 years until my sisters were born, whatever. But I used to love mythology, Greek and Roman. And back then we used to have these things called encyclopedias. You youngsters don't know anything about that. And I would get the encyclopedias and read about Zeus. And at the end of it, it would say, see also Hera, Hercules, etc. And so I've been huge into mythology. That's one of the reasons why I like Thor so much. This book is one that I really, really enjoy because of my love for mythology and pantheons. And
it's 3:02 in Nigeria.
Thanks for staying up late with us, man.
Appreciate y'all staying up late just to see us. Appreciate that, fam. Listen, seriously, Mr. Akonde and Mr. Ayodele, we would love to have you on the show. Please email us at blackcomiclords@gmail.com. And if you are available and are interested, please email us dates and times that you have available that we can bring you on. We'll do a special show just for the two of you to interview you and talk about your book and what other works you have coming up. Because, as I said, I've been a fan with you guys, but since before this book, when you were doing I Am Iron Man, I was like, who the hell are these guys? This book is fantastic, and I was telling people to go read that book, and then you came out with this one. It's just that much better doing it. The original book of yours.
They are available in that weekend specifically, because that's why, if you recall, a couple of weeks ago I asked you what you were doing for your birthday.
It's my birthday weekend, so more than likely I'll probably be out of town, but certainly the weekend after that.
And they are interested in coming on and talking about their book and their work. So
that's a great birthday present for me. I'd love to interview you guys.
So if if you're not out of town or if you're available on the 14th, they already said that they're available on the 14th. So
sweet. If not the 14th, certainly the following weekend, we'll definitely do something.
Yep.
Salute to the two of you from Hype Style. Amir says I'm not
on my
I'm not big on this genre in comics, but this story hooked me from the very first few pages.
Yep,
I
same.
called my shop and added it to my pull. That's what's up.
I didn't know that it was at my comic book store. I called them after Paul told me about it. And so the guy said he was going to order it, right? So I get there the following Wednesday or whatever. And the guy who actually runs the shop, he was like, hey, we do have it on the shelf already. It doesn't have to be special ordered. So my shop already gets it, Titan Comics. So it is on my pull list. I am looking forward to issue number 2 to be dropped June 12th.
That's what's up. All right. So next book on our list to talk about today, going in alphabetical order, would be Blade, number 10. So give me a second. Pull that up. Right here. So this is the final issue of this Blade series. Again, Brian Edward Hill. This brother don't miss. If he's written a wax series, I haven't seen it yet.
This series was good, but I'm gonna be honest, the ending was anticlimactic to me.
Well, go ahead.
No, I listen. I enjoyed the series overall. I enjoyed this issue overall. The big bad was a very big bad. The way she got taken out, I was like, that's it? I mean, I expected more. Well, let me put it, I don't know what I expected. It wasn't something in this manner because, again, the way she got taken out was somewhat anticlimactic. For those who may not have been reading the series, basically there's this ancient evil who got released thanks to, Blade being tricked all the way back in issue 1 when it was dropped last fall. So Blade has spent the previous 9 issues trying to figure out how to unring that bell, how to kill the big bad. He's had to get trained by Dracula. He's had to draft some help in trying to fight this creature. He had to literally go to hell to get some assistance from an individual. He went through a lot. There was a whole crucible that he had to go through to get to where we are now. And this person, this entity is I like that cover. This entity is the embodiment of evil that Blade had to face. And I expected more of a knockdown, drag out conclusion to the story. And that's why I said it was somewhat anticlimactic. Of course, he wins. This is a spoiler, but of course he wins. But the way he won, it was like, I mean, that's it. I don't know. That was my take on it. But again, I overall enjoyed the story. It gets a solid 9. Frustrated said that the ending was a letdown, so he kind of understands where I'm coming from. Overall the series was an 8.59, but this did not stick the landing. When I say that, it somewhat reminds me of Eve. Paul and I were reading this book a couple of years ago called Eve. It was a 4-issue limited series. There were 2 of them, 2 volumes.
Victor Laval.
What?
By Victor Laval, that's the writer of the book.
Right, Victor Laval. Issues 1 through 3 were phenomenal. Then we got to issue 4, which was the conclusion, and it was like, that's it? I mean, and that's how I felt when it came to this. It's a very, very good book, but just the ending left me wanting something else.
Mark Robinson says, you look like the illegitimate relative of Boss Hawk. Oh, God. There's nobody under 35 that gets that reference.
Knows, right. And I already had my mint julep. So Azure Beast thing, yeah. Right. Something more mystical. I mean, fireballs, lightning, something other than a sword in the back. It just, yeah. Right. I agree, Bison. I absolutely agree.
Well, here's the thing. I get what you're saying in terms of it ending abruptly. There was a comment here from Anthony Davis. He says, this Blade run was great, but the ending seemed a little rushed, like the run was suddenly cut short and Brian Hill was told to end it. I think there's something to that. I mean,
But wasn't it always
hold on, let me finish. For all intents and purposes, this run seems slated to be a ongoing series.
I thought it was always supposed to be.
Hold on. It seemed like it was going to be an ongoing series. Brian Edward Hill indicated that when asked, is there going to be a continuation of the story, he said a very ambiguous answer. So that would seem to indicate that they're planning something. I don't know if he's allowed to talk about it yet. He is going to be writing the Midnight Suns book for this Blood Hunt series that involves Blade. But here's the thing. Everything that built up in this series was Blade having to humble himself, deconstruct himself in order to defeat the big bad, because the big bad kicked his ass. In essence, this was like any other Saturday morning kung fu theater flick from Shaw Brothers, where the young hero gets defeated or somehow, taken back by the big bad guy. He then has to go up to the mountain and learn from the ancient master how to do kung fu, this new style of kung fu to him. And then after all the training, he comes back to the big bad and defeats him with the new moves that he's learned. That's what the story was. Tell me I'm wrong. It's literally what the story was. But here's the thing. Understand the journey of Blade, of what he had to do to defeat the Adana, was to literally go to hell, was to literally bend the knee to Dracula, drink Dracula's blood, change himself physically, open himself up to new powers of the damn fear, right? He had to do all of that. He wielded a sword that literally turns you evil, right? He did all of this all to defeat the Adana. And then, we'll talk about it a little later, we see him in Blood Hunt. What you see happens in Blood Hunt, and we're going to spoil the hell out of that book, just to give you a forewarning, I think is somewhat explained by what happens to him in Brian Edward Hill's series.
Yes.
There's got to be some type of connection.
But that you just basically reiterated everything that I said. The issue is not anything that you said. The issue is how the book ended, how the big bad was defeated. And the way the big bad was defeated in this book was very anticlimactic to me, and apparently a couple of others.
I didn't disagree. I said, I agree. I can see where your point is, but I also see that everything that he's gone through in this series is what possibly has led us to what we see in Blood Hunt, which I find interesting.
But here's the thing, though.
It gives what happens in Blood Hunt a lot more context.
Right. Tying into Blood Hunt makes sense. I understand that. But the issue is that if an individual is not going to read Blood Hunt, but you should, but if an individual is not going to read Blood Hunt, and this is the only thing that they're going to read about Blade, it needs to have a satisfying conclusion. This book, to me, did not have a satisfying conclusion. I absolutely agree with you that what happened to him in this book plays into what's going on in Blood Hunt. I absolutely agree with that. But there needs to be a satisfying conclusion in this book. Right. Carter Country is a name I have not heard in 30 years.
Mir points out that at the end of this book, it says he's coming back.
Okay, I mean, but this, if nobody else reads, if a person doesn't read anything else, this is supposed to be the conclusion of this volume. It reminds me a little bit of the Game of Thrones season 8. The series was phenomenal up until season 8. That last season wasn't good. This wasn't bad like the last season of Game of Thrones, but there just needed to be something more for me.
Mir asked, did we read the issue 1 of Blood Hunt?
Yes, we're ready to talk about it. Yes.
Cover your eyes. We're gonna spoil the hell out that book.
Right.
Cliff says, agree on the Blade ending, but very interested to see where it goes with Blood Hunt. Blurred forever agreed. Brian should have been included in the writing of Blood Hunt. I think I asked him something along those lines about how involved he was. He didn't really seem that there was kind of sort of vague interaction or notes or discussions with him about what he did with Blade, but I think Jed MacKay did his thing. But Jed MacKay is an excellent writer.
Okay, so we're getting ready to go. Are we getting ready to go into Blood Hunt then?
We're about to go into Blood Hunt.
All right.
I was just finishing up our discussion on that point. Let's just finish up these comments. I think Blade is being controlled, or Dracula is actually in his body. Maybe switch places.
We'll get to that. Yeah.
I don't think Dracula really cares about stuff like that anymore. Dracula seems to be much more chill and focused on
his
vampire nation in Russia right now. In the Blade books, Doctor Strange was pissed with Blade, but in the Blood Hunt book, they were cool with each other. Well,
we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk
Blade and Doctor Strange have known each other for a very long time.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Blood Hunt, Chillmonger. Hey, what's up, Chillmonger? How you doing? Blood Hunt had enough time to adjust. Yeah, okay. 1 in 100 pockets. You're right, Mark. Some people only want to read Blade. It ended mad random.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go to the next.
Give that spoiler warning again.
Yeah, let's do the spoiler warning.
We're getting ready to talk about Blood Hunt 1. Spoilers galore.
Derek. We just couldn't make this simple, could we? Alphabetical order means so many different things to different people. Here we go.
Marion, don't look at it. Shut your eyes, Marion. Don't look at it no matter what happens.
Don't look at it! Keep your eyes shut!
Blood Hunt is so good. Blood Hunt is so good. Listen,
did you just clap your hands?
Yes,
together?
I did. I'm so excited. It is so good.
Don't
this
ever do
book
that again.
right here. This book right here. Like, what did Cat Williams say? Knucker. This right here. This stuff right here. Knucker. Listen.
Don't ever do that again either, please.
Jed MacKay was in his bag, as the youngsters say, when he wrote this book. All right. So in Blood Hunt, there are different superheroes and villains whose whole power set is based on the Dark Force. One of the main characters is Cloak of Cloak and Dagger fame. He goes through the Dark Force whenever he transports himself and others to where he has that access. There's a Russian chick, I cannot remember her name right now, but she has
Darkstar.
Darkstar has a Dark Force power. I think there's a villain maybe named Shroud.
He's Shroud. The Shroud. So let me talk about Shroud.
Yeah.
Shroud is a villain from the Moon Knight series. Jed MacKay, who's the writer of Blood Hunt, is also the writer of Avengers and also the writer of Moon Knight. And in the Moon Knight series, is just revealed a few issues ago that Marc Spector's dead, and there's a new character who has replaced him as Moon Knight. They can't figure it out who he was until a couple issues ago. It was revealed that the new Moon Knight is none other than the hero turned villain turned semi-villain turned vigilante, the Shroud. The Shroud has Dark Force powers in addition to martial arts powers or abilities. And at the end of the latest Moon Knight issue, I think it's Moon Knight 13 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken, the Shroud decides to reform himself, switch back to the good guys, and the moment he does that, he suddenly loses all control of his powers, and Dark Force energy begins to emanate from him. At the very end of that book is what you see at the very beginning of Blood Hunt, because it goes directly from Vengeance of Moon Knight to Blood Hunt. Even in the solicits for the reading list for this Blood Hunt series, it says Vengeance of Moon Knight, and then it says Blood Hunt #1.
Have you been reading Moon Knight?
I have. It's a fantastic series. That's what I'm saying. Jed MacKay, I love this guy's writing. I love this guy's writing. The fact that he's writing both Moon Knight and Avengers also plays a part in what we see in this Blood Hunt book.
I'll pick up Moon Knight. So the first images that you see in Blood Hunt are all of these dark force power wielders basically kind of just exploding with all of this dark force energy emanating, is the word Paul used, from their bodies. And from that dark force, all of a sudden you have a metric fuck ton of vampires that come and just basically attack everybody. Also, let me back up. We all know that a vampire's weakness is garlic, crucifix or religious symbols, and mainly ultraviolet rays, the sun. This dark force energy emanating from these dark force users has literally blotted out the sun and moon from the planet Earth view. So that means that they can run around without fear of going up literally in a puff of smoke. And so there is an attack on humanity, right? You've got literally millions of vampires. You don't have any idea of where these vampires are coming from.
Let me just note just one quick note of the Dark Force users. You mentioned the Shroud. There's also Cloak of Cloak and Dagger.
I mentioned him.
But also Silhouette of the New Warriors, one of my favorite comics of all time. That's her in the lower right-hand corner as well. We haven't seen her since Night Thrasher series.
Oh, that's her? Okay.
That's
I had no idea. But so basically, two things are going on. Number one, their powers are running amok, going out of control, and it's blotting out the sun. Number two, the vampires are using the dark dimension as gateways or portals to planet Earth so they can feed like they're at a Chinese buffet. They're showing in the book, different areas, different time periods of when this has happened, like T-1, T-10, whatever. One of the things that I appreciated, I know this is something minor, but they were showing all of the different cities and countries where these attacks are taking place. Something that I don't ever recall happening in a comic book outside of the Black Panther universe is they mentioned Nigeria. And, I got kind of geeked at that for some reason.
Lagos, Nigeria, yeah.
Right. I don't ever recall hearing about Africa outside of Genosha, which is off the coast of Africa, and Wakanda. I don't ever recall, the continent being mentioned. And so just that little brief panel in here, I was happy about. But this specific book focuses on the Avengers and Blade. So Blade is in this,
Can I just mention one other thing on that?
Go ahead.
As a Black comic lord, we appreciate books that give good, positive representation with agency of Black characters in comics. I want to point out something about this book. Let's go back to simply just the cover itself. Okay. Right here. Just so we're clear, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 Black superheroes on the cover of this book. And all 5 of these Black superheroes is in this book itself. Not just on the cover, but have actual stuff to do inside the book. And it's a phenomenal book. It's a well-written book. And it's got a top-tier artist on it.
Hold on. So the dude next to Tigra, he's Black.
Yeah, that's Badir. That's Badir. He's from Egypt. He is Hunter's Moon. He is another Fist of Khonshu.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, That's what I'm saying.
So
Jed McKay's writing that book. Jed McKay created this character.
Okay. And so that's Miles Morales. Or is that Peter or is that Miles?
That's Miles Morales.
Right.
Miles Morales has a cool role in this Blood Hunt book. He has a cool scene in this book. Miles Morales, if you don't follow that series, several issues ago, ran into Blade and his daughter Bloodline in Brooklyn. And they went under the streets of Brooklyn and fought a big bad vampire. And in that series, Blade gave Miles Morales an upgrade in his gear, in his fit. He gave him a vampire hunting outfit with weapons. And so he turned Miles Morales into a vampire hunter. And that's where, he gets to actually meet Blade, and that's why he's familiar with him in this book. But Miles Morales has also developed a new power where not only can he do his electrical touch thing, but he's developed an electrical sword. Shout out to Cody Ziegler, who's actually, doing development of the character instead of simply making him the black version of Peter Parker. He's given him a new power where he can actually manifest a sword made out of energy, and he can use that sword to kill vampires, which is helpful. So yeah, I'm tremendously excited about this series, man, on so many different levels.
And let me back up here too. So Paul and I are of a certain age where we know where the first Marvel specific cross-issue storyline came out in 1984, which was Marvel Superhero Secret Wars. That was the title of it. Then periodically you would have different event comics, is what they are called, that touched on different issues and titles in the Marvel Universe that affected the entirety of that universe. So back in the day, you had Inferno, you had the Fall of the Mutants. You would see those storylines creep in outside of the X titles or whatever the case may be. Over the past 10 or 15 years, it has been an absolute money grab. You had Chaos, you had Siege, you had Fear, you had Civil War, which was a good one. And you have all of these different cross-issue storylines, most of which I don't care about, I don't give a damn about, because they feel like they are a money grab. See, back in the day, you would have them once in a while. Now it's every year. Sometimes you have more than one in a year. So you become overwhelmed. You become inundated with these cross-issue storylines. Blood Hunt, I am really, really looking forward to this, the way it has been set up in issue number 1 with this.
I haven't been this excited about a crossover series since those original Bendis runs. Actually, I can't say that. Since the Hickman runs after Bendis. The Hickman Infinity and Secret Wars run. That's probably the last good crossover Marvel's ever done, in my opinion.
See, I wasn't even, I have those Secret Wars books. I wasn't really that interested in them because that was like the 3rd or 4th Secret Wars storyline. You had Secret Wars in 84. You had another one in 86 or 87. You had Secret Wars 3 that came out in 2005, 6, somewhere in the 2000s. And so when you had another one, I'm like, okay, here we go again with yet another one. So personally, I was not excited about it. The Siege and Fear cross-issue storylines were Thor specific. And as a Thor guy, as I mentioned earlier on, I was interested in those, but I wasn't excited about them. I was interested in them. This I am excited about based on how issue number 1 has been written. And, so you
and here's the thing. With the spin-off series, we already mentioned Midnight Suns. It's got Blade in it. We've got a Dracula spinoff, has Bloodline in it. There we have a Black Panther spinoff series. That's 3 spinoff series of a crossover event with the main stars being Black superheroes. I don't know if Marvel's ever done anything like this before. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but I'm here for it. Let's jump into the chat. The chat's been going crazy. We're almost at 100 views right now. Thank you all who are watching us. If you're watching us for the first time, welcome. This is our Friday Late Night Happy Hour, Wakanda Whiskey and Blerdom on the Black Comic Lords channel. If you are not subscribed to our channel, please hit the subscribe button down there and also hit the like button and share the video so it helps us to float the algorithm and get other people to watch us. We're just 50 people away from 3,000 followers, I think. So the more subscriptions we can get, we really want to try and reach that goal. It costs you nothing. It costs you literally nothing. Just hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. Let's jump into our chat. Chillmonger says, most comics sell off the shelves by Thursday, so it's likely the comic was read by the majority. Blade snapped in Blood Hunt. Yeah,
yes, he did.
We'll talk about that in a second.
We're getting there.
Azor Beast notes that Dracula is teaming up with Blade's daughter in a tie-in series. Yeah, I just mentioned that. iManifesto, free comic book day tomorrow.
Yes,
absolutely.
It is. We mentioned that already. Kentucky Derby is tomorrow, son. It's tomorrow. Right. This is me appreciating. Yeah.
That Dark Force power connection is dope.
It is.
They should have had a crossover with all the Dark Force users. There's a lot of them.
Right.
Tron World. I finally shout out to Tron World. I got to meet you this weekend. I didn't see you Sunday, man. I was looking for you. Peace and blessings to all in attendance. Vagrant, mid-90s, I think. Shroud had a solo series as an anti-hero. Yeah. Cloak from Cloak and Dagger. Yep.
Mention that.
The sword that we talked about, the sword of Miles Morales. Lord Forever.
Right.
Bloody
Lord, yes.
Let me do my blessed British accent, which sucks. Bloody hell! Now I have to buy the Moon Knight book.
Yes, I do as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's dope. It's a dope series. It's a dope series. Jed McKay can write. I ain't gonna lie. If it's too many books for this series, I'm going to be getting trade paperbacks. So that's what's up.
I understand that, but I'm a collector. I gotta have the individual titles. So.
I can't wait. I can't wait for trade paperbacks. This is too hot a series for me to wait. Blood Forever. By Blood Hunt was a very good read. Lots of black characters. Yes, indeed. I just mentioned that. Italian food is the bane of the vamp's existence. That's right. That's right. What's crazy is that I didn't know how many dark magic users there were.
Same. Yeah. So hold on, stop right here. So for me, the only person who I knew that would immediately jump to mind was Cloak and the chick from Russia whose name is Dark Star. And she used to pop up in the Avengers back in the 90s periodically, but those are the only two that would immediately come to mind. Paul mentioned a second ago, old girl from New Warriors, who's Silhouette. I don't really know about Shroud like that, but apparently there are more than just those 3 or 4. And you never think about it until you think about it.
They also mentioned this villain, Marcus Daniels, which that sounds like a very black name. I'm going to have to look up Marcus Daniels to see who he is.
Mother, sister's brother side.
Yeah. Isn't there a character named Blackout with dark? I think that's who we're just talking about. Marcus Daniels is Blackout.
Okay.
Where is Damian Hellstrom with all this evil running around? Being that vampires don't have beating hearts, Daredevil is going to have serious problems fighting them.
That's a good
I hadn't thought about that.
That is a very good point.
That's a very good point.
So
where's Dr. Voodoo for that matter? Dr. Voodoo has a very good history of fighting vampires as well.
So we mentioned Damon Hellstrom, but we were talking about Blade before this. And Blade, I didn't mean that, but Hellstrom's sister was in that. Yeah, so that's a very good point. Where is Damon Hellstrom? Yeah.
And Satana showed up in the Blade series. She helped Blade get transported into hell.
I just said, yep.
Morella Oyodele.
Right. Yeah, I was too.
In the comic. Yeah.
I've never been to Nigeria.
Shout out to Lagos, Nigeria.
Right. I've never been to Nigeria, and I know several Nigerians. And, I heard that, Kenya makes the best jollof rice, not Nigerians, but that's just what I heard.
Oh, wow. You're trying to start a fight. You're trying to start a fight. Don't start a fight with the man.
But when I saw Lagos, I was like, oh my God, I literally got excited when I saw that. Yeah.
I bet Emmanuel Achu has a problem with that. I need Jamaica to be mentioned in the comic books. Did you check out Silver Surfer Ghostlight? If you don't know what I'm talking about, it is.
Let's not go off on too much of a tangent. Paul, let's not go off on too much of a tangent.
What was that?
I said, let's not go off on too much of a tangent.
He asked about
I understand. Let's not
Silver
go off
Surfer Ghostlight by my man John Jennings.
Yep.
Notice the costume coloring is the Jamaican flag.
All right.
And he is a Jamaican character.
Yep. But yeah, when Legos was mentioned, I legit got excited. I really did.
Plus cloak makes 6. Yeah. Vagrant says, I didn't know Falcon was still rocking out as Captain America.
He's not Falcon anymore. He's Captain America.
He is Captain America, unfortunately. I wish they'd simply upgraded his Falcon persona, but that would require effort and thought and investiture in a non-legacy. Don't get me started. That's a whole nother show. I Manifesto, what is that glowing sword? The glowing sword is Miles Morales' new ability.
Yeah.
He can now manifest a sword.
And I'm going to be honest, when I was reading this book, I thought that was Peter. I didn't realize that it was Miles. So I'll have to reread it.
Miles got a Voltron power-up with that sword. Yes, he did. Dark Force energy from Dark Force Dimension and Dark Magic are different.
Yes, they are.
War of the Realms.
Again, as a Thor guy, War of the Realms was mid.
It was just mid, man. The first Contest of Champions was a good crossover, maybe the first one. I'm getting the Black Panther tie-in. Well, you should. I think Blade, Clea, and Wong are going to come out large in this. Surprise me, Captain Falcon. That's what I call him too. I call him Captain Falcon. Chillmonger, yeah, I'm also. I am too. I also am collecting the Miles book too.
Yeah, I'll probably get the black characters. That you mentioned, Black Panther, of course. Any character who I would originally collect, like Hulk, like Thor, things of that nature, I will probably get those books.
All right. So I just realized
that
I forgot. Mr. Bo Big gave us a $10 super chat. Didn't forget you, bro. Almost did. I appreciate you. I got lost midstream, but here we go with our super chat.
If he hasn't been sent one, Bo needs a hoodie or a shirt still.
Which Mark was going to come out of pocket to go get you.
No, I was not, because I don't get this money that he sends.
Neither do I. Tron World, also with the super chat. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you. You also get the super chat. Might be able to make our budget this week. Pay for all this. All right. So back to our comments. Where were we? I Manifesto. I remember Avengers foe with dark force powers like Green Lantern.
I think that's the chick from Russia.
The Dark Star.
Yeah, that's who I automatically think of.
Strange Academy should have Dr. Voodoo. Strange Academy does have Dr. Voodoo. In fact, if you want to see some latest Strange Academy stuff, check out Incredible Hulk issue number 12 that came out this week. Dr. Voodoo and Strange Academy is in that issue.
I have that book. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, dope book. I Manifesto. I remember Avengers foe with the. Oh, I think we just saw that.
You said that.
Azure Beast, Strange. Oh, I saw that too. Tron World. Apologies, Paul. I was extremely busy and didn't have enough time for Saturday and Sunday. It was great to meet you as well. Yeah, we'll catch each other next time. I'm definitely going to the Brooklyn Comic Festival every year from now on. That's going to be a thing. So I'll see you, bro. Quadwo Dwayne Dieterville. Are you all going to talk about the issue of Blood Hunt with the sealed red explicit content warning? I haven't got it yet. I ordered it. It's coming to mail, so I have not seen it yet. I heard there's some different stuff in that book. Have you gotten it, Paul? Mark?
No, I have no idea what that is. No.
All right. So the same issue that you have of Blood Hunt came also in a red band polybag book, which had extra bloody content and apparently a slightly different story. All right. Marcus Daniels has Paul fooled like Jason Sean. I guess that answers my question as to whether he's black. I guess he must be white. Because Jason Shawn Alexander had everybody fooled. Everyone swore that dude.
Wait, so he's not black?
He's not black. He got black tendencies. He's got a black wife, but he's not black.
What is he?
He's white. He is Caucasian.
From the mountains of Caucasus.
From the Caucasus Mountains.
I've seen pictures of him. He looks like a light-skinned black dude.
He does look like a light-skinned black dude, but he is a white dude.
Okay. For those who don't know, he is the artist on the phenomenal Philadelphia series with what's my writer's name?
Rodney Barnes.
Rodney Barnes. Yep. All right. So back to the book.
He does get invited to Cookout though. Armistead Gwatley, Dr. Voodoo is currently in the Hulk books. Seriously spooky. Yep, indeed. I could have sworn Nigeria was mentioned in an Avengers comic.
If it was, I don't recall. It may have been, but I just don't recall.
I take offense to Kenya having the best jollof rice. What I tell you? Don't start fights.
Listen, bro, I did that on purpose. Just jokes, bro. Just jokes.
And have us in a war. I need that ghost light. Yeah, you do. Clearly, Paul's storage unit is behind him as well. What? Behind? I don't even get what that means.
All right, let's get back to the book. Let's not go off.
I almost got a few more comments yet. And where is Ghostlight now?
Right.
I'm still bitter. Chillmonger's just triggering me. Did anyone get that green variant Blade cover?
I didn't know there was one.
Are you serious? We'll show it in a second.
Okay.
I ordered it. I don't have it yet. No crossover, at least.
Okay, so let's stop right here. And I've just been saying I don't want to go off on tangents, but the Noel crossover BP tie-in was written by Jeffrey Thorne. Paul and I have both said in this space numerous times that was probably the single best issue of a Black Panther comic ever. It was phenomenal. But I didn't get the overall Noel storyline. No.
Frustrated confirms that Jason Alexander is indeed.
How do you know that? Did he put raisins in his potato salad or something? How do you know that?
Wow, that's
a great cookout invitation.
Aubrey. Chillmonger may be another 50 years before we see Al Harper.
Al Harper, right.
All right, exactly. So Derek's now trolling me as well. I got it. I got that green variant. Let's show everybody the green variant that everyone's talking about. Here. Oh, first of all, let's look at this Gabriel Delato variant. This is the 1 in 25 variants.
That's kind of cool.
That's dope.
I do like that. Dope. I do like that.
Mad dope. That's the Art Germ, Tigra, whatever her name is. This is the Kale New variant.
That's kind of cool.
That's kind of cool. This is the Steven Segovia variant. It's all right. This one's dope.
I saw that one. In my comic book store, and I started to get it, but that's Blade. We're on Blood Hunt. But yeah,
I don't know if I ordered this one because I don't think this was on the pre-orders. I don't think the art for it was on the pre-order. This is the Javier Fernandez.
It's kind of plain.
Not a single black character on there, so no way I'm buying that. This is the green cover.
That's cool. That's cool. That is cool.
The negative
homage to the 1970s. That is
negative
cool.
Space variant.
I do like that.
Man, Rich hated this cover. He did not like the Blade's man meat out, his hairy man meat. Took some issues with his tight pants from the 70s.
But it's an homage to the 70s, so I mean, it is what it is.
It is what it is. The V-necks were in, like tight pants with bell bottoms was in.
I do like that cover.
I think this is a dope cover.
Right. Let's get back to the book, dude.
All right, let's get back to the book.
All right. So basically, this book, this issue number 1, is an Avengers-centric book, right? So on planet Earth, all hell is breaking loose. The Avengers' job is to protect and serve. They are doing their best to try to stymie the influx of vampires Tony Stark is talking to Wanda Maximoff, aka Scarlet Witch. And Tony is like, hey, can't you magic this stuff away? Right? And Wanda's like, no, why don't you use your metal suit to do so? And so over their comms, you have Blade, who has been Avenger in the past few years. It's a few pages before this. But in the past few years, you've had Blade, who has been an Avenger, come on their comms like, look, guys, I know what's going on. We need to meet up. So right now, the Avengers have an orbiting space station that is their base. And Blade is like, look, lock onto my coordinates, beam me up, Scotty. We need to meet up. So they do that, right? And when they get up into space on their station, they basically are ambushed by this group of superpowered vampires. So you're going through the comments, or we're going to talk about?
I was going through comments as you're talking. Go ahead.
But okay, so pull up the images after this. Pull up the images after the one that you just showed, because the image that you just showed was the Avengers first appearing on their orbiting spaceship, right?
Well, now we have a new group of super vampires known as the Blood Coven.
And they are tight. They are, listen.
This is their first appearance.
Yeah, they're scary. Let me just say that. That big, tall, alabaster dude, he was scary. He was running things. He's the governor. This was good. And what I liked about them is each one has a special skill or power set to match up against a specific Avenger. And so they are like, okay, I'm going to take this guy, you take that woman, and then they just basically want to wipe the Avengers off the board. This was very, extremely, extremely well done. You want to talk about who's who?
All right. So, I mean, this is the first time I've seen these. But the character names are Migram, who is apparently some type of psychic, because Migram launches this psychic attack, which wipes out all the Avengers, all of them. Cruel and Unusual is another character. Damascene is is one who takes out Thor. Smoke Eater is another character, and then Bloodstorm is the leader, this alabaster-looking dude. And this is the Blood Coven. These people are fierce, and they straight up body the Avengers.
Okay, so this is, we already gave the spoiler warning. Blade is the big bad in this book, right?
Wow, you can't even lead into it. There's like a couple things that happen in between this.
We understand that, but my question is this. When did you, after reading this book, realize that Blade was the big bad?
When the page showed that he was the big bad.
So you didn't realize that he was the big bad before then?
No.
Okay. So for me, Blade is driving down the street in New York, right? And he's on the Avengers.
Someone who says they're Blade.
I'm sorry, say it again.
Someone who says that they're Blade. Because the person driving in the vehicle is transported to the Avengers space station. I-Manifesto, by the way, asked where they got that station from. It's in the Avengers series, the very beginning of this latest Avengers volume.
Yes.
It's basically a living ship, very much like the ship that Apocalypse had back in the day.
Yes.
But Blade wasn't on the truck. So
that is correct.
That's why at that time I was like, well, they must have used a shapeshifter or something. So
what I was thinking, okay, so going back to the book, Blade is somebody who purports to be Blade, is driving down the street. He gets on the Avengers comms and he says, look, I understand what's going on. We all need to meet up. Let's meet up in our orbiting spaceship city base, right? So the ship, which is sentient, beams up Blade's truck that he's driving. When the ship arrives on the planet, on the spaceship, and all the Avengers appear, we're talking about 6 or 7 folks, all of a sudden the back of the truck opens, and then you have the Coven, and then they automatically take out the Avengers and start fighting them. At this moment right there during this panel, in my mind, I'm like, yo, Blade is the big bad. I couldn't figure out how he got away from the truck. My thinking is after he sent that message, he just turned into a puff or a wisp of smoke and got away because he now has that ability thanks to Dracula and his actions in the Blade book. So that was my thinking. I automatically thought that Blade was the big bad.
Can we
Blade
talk about
bad of this book? Say it again.
Can we talk about how disturbing this image is? Crematoria.
Yeah.
Smoke Eater. This is the character Smoke Eater. This is a horrific image. Hands. What?
I mean, she'd be probably very popular at a frat party, but this is very creepy. That is creepy. Yes.
Frat party. This guy's thinking he's.
And then you've got Black Panther right here on the left, and you've got Captain America right there on the right.
I ain't calling him Captain America. I can't do that.
That is Captain America. Stop being racist.
That's Cap Falcon. It has nothing to do with race. If he was white, I'd be saying the same thing. It's Cap Falcon.
But yeah, she's pretty damn creepy. She's pretty damn creepy. But yeah, that was the point. That was the point that I figured out that Blade was the big bad. And then so you have that group of individuals taking on the Avengers. The Avengers are comprised of Sam Wilson, Captain America, T'Challa, Black Panther, son of T'Chaka.
Yeah, Falcon.
Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, Thor, of course, Wanda Maximoff, and the Vision. So there are 6 superpowered individuals who are fighting, right? That entity, the Alabaster dude, wanted Sam Wilson specifically. And let me tell you, these fight scenes,
brutal.
I was literally on the edge of my seat while I was reading this because you did not know what was going to happen. These people were taking it to the Avengers unlike they had ever taken it before. It was
Azor Beast says that he knew that it was Blade was the big bad when he was explaining, when he was talking to Strange and Clea.
Right. I figured out before then, but when he walked in, that confirmed it to me. Right? More than confirmed it. Like I said, when the ship showed up, when the truck showed up on the ship and Blade wasn't there, I'm like, okay, yeah, Blade is the big bad.
I Manifesto says, although he was lurking in the shadows, he not slaying suckheads. That's what sort of clued him on.
But when the truck shows up on the ship, he's not there, and then he shows up in Doctor Strange Sanctum Sanctorum. I'm like, okay, yeah, he is that guy.
Yeah, I Manifesto. I agree with you, man. That's kind of ditty-ish.
But it was funny. I don't care what you say.
Sure. You're throwing grenades.
I've been known to do that.
Okay. Even the new suit he made during Fall of X.
Whose suit? I don't know.
I'm not certain I remember what that was reference to. But yeah, I mean, look, here's the next big thing I want to talk about. Remember I said before that Jed MacKay is the writer. The significance of having him write this is that he's already the writer of both Avengers and
Moon Knight.
And his Avengers run, understand the context in which it happened. This was right after the writer who shall not be named on this show had just concluded his Black Panther run. And the next time we see T'Challa is in Avengers. And in the very first panels of talking of making T'Challa an Avenger again, because we got booted off the team in that other run.
And told go back to Africa.
You already had Jed MacKay building the character back up with just a couple panels. It didn't take much. It doesn't take, an entire run to build the character back up. You had Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, saying, yeah, T'Challa, we need you back on the Avengers because you're an Avenger. You're a hero. And the world needs you. We need you. We need a king. And Sam Wilson is like, why would you want him back on the team? And Carol Danvers' response was so epic. She goes, because he's the deadliest man alive. That was so cold to have her say that. The woman who is known in Marvel as the most powerful Avenger says he's the deadliest man alive. In this issue, when stuff is going bad, when Thor gets a spike through his friggin' head, Thor, the Asgardian god of thunder, gets murked in this book.
Hold on. He's not only the god of thunder. Thor at this point is the All-Father. He is Odin, basically. He is running Asgard. He has the Odin force. And he gets a spike in his head and is taken down. Now,
T'Challa on the ground, taken. I mean, McKay was bodying the whole Avengers, right?
Yeah.
And in the midst of all this, Carol Danvers goes, T'Challa, what the hell's going on? What's your plan? You've always got a plan. That's why you're here. You're like the plan guy. He's like, I'm
lost.
I don't know.
No idea.
No idea.
One of the things that I liked, and pull up this image if you would, please, where basically the Avengers are on the ropes, right? But T'Challa understands that the world needs a symbol. And despite what Paul says, Sam Wilson is Captain America. And Captain America has been the symbol of truth, justice, the American way, and right. And T'Challa right here sees everything that's going on. He's like, look, if anybody survives, if anybody needs to survive this cluster F, right? It's gone FUBAR. Those who are military veterans understand what that means. Sam Wilson, Captain America, needs to survive. And T'Challa tells the ship, which has already been infected by some type of virus and isn't doing what it normally needs to do, ship, you need to get Captain America out of here, right? And that's exactly what happens. And basically, it appears that T'Challa has sacrificed himself in order to save Sam Wilson, Captain America.
You give no buildup. So these guys just saw Thor go down, right? T'Challa's laying on the ground. He's all bloody. Look, dude's got scars on his face. Sam got taken out. Sam got put in chokehold by a dude who's like, oh, I see you're some type of symbol. It'll be cool to add you to my flock and have the symbol of the country be seen as a member of my flock. So Sam's like, God, what are we gonna do, man? He's like, I don't know. But I tell you what, T'Challa, Mr. Plans guy, of course he does have a plan, kind of, because T'Challa always thinks 5 steps ahead. He thought in his plan making, worst case scenario, the Avengers are down and we're in our base called the city, or whatever it's called. And so he goes, city, emergency evac, first Captain America. This is cool. What makes this cool is in the very first issue of Jed McKay's run of Avengers, T'Challa still wouldn't call Sam Captain America. He called him Falcon, in fact, because he's known him forever and views him as Falcon. And they had a beef in the Sam Wilson Captain America run, which is stupid, but whatever. So there's been a little animus between the two of them. But in this, he refers to him not as Sam Wilson, not as Falcon. He calls him Captain America. First, take Captain America. And why did he do it? He goes, because we're going to need a symbol when we're all down. We're going to need a symbol to rally behind to bring back the world. So that's why I'm sacrificing myself. And T'Challa's taken out. Remember what just happened? Remember 2 years ago, for you longtime watchers, we're up to 100 views, by the way. Please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. 2 years ago, after Chadwick Boseman passed, and Marvel Studios made that stupid-ass announcement that they're not going to recast T'Challa. What did I say on the show? The rest of my Black Comic Lords were like, Paul, you're overreacting. You're just being emotional. It's like, no, I'm not being emotional. I'm being logical. For a long time now, Marvel Comics has become the promotional material for Marvel Studios, because the studios, the movies, are what makes the money. The movies are the ones that make billions of dollars. Comics don't make that much money for them. So I said, logically, they're going to have whatever happens in the MCU happen in the comics. And people are like, oh, they can't kill T'Challa. They can't kill T'Challa. I said they have to do something, because you're taking him out of the MCU. You're going to have to, at the very minimum, my words, you're going to have to, at minimum, sideline the character to be consistent with what they have in the movies. What did we subsequently get? We got the run by He Who Shall Not Be Named, in which we have, for all intents and purposes, sidelined the character, taken away his crown, make him break up with his girl, embarrassed him, humbled him. This was worse than when Coates made him a slave. Like, beat him all the way down. Got him beat up by his best friend Steve Rogers in an uncharacteristic, been told to go back to Africa. Sorry, I'm still having flashbacks. The point remains, that was them sidelining him. The only thing worse they could do is kill the dude. People are like, oh, they can't kill T'Challa. Never kill T'Challa. Killed not only T'Challa, they killed all the Avengers. But they finally did it. They killed my man. Long live the king. Long live the king. Moment of silence. So what's happening in Blood Hunt 2?
Wait, hold on. So we haven't finished. Are you okay? You need a moment. You need a.
I had to honestly take a moment. I never thought I would see the day of my boy being. He went out like a soldier.
Right. So we need to go ahead and finish with this particular book, right?
I mean, this image is very, very painful to look at. T'Challa!
Right.
Can't let them have the symbol, because the world still need a symbol.
So Captain America has been the symbol of truth, justice, and the American way. And for 50, 60 years, that has been Steve Rogers, but it is now Sam Wilson. T'Challa understands as the king, former king of Wakanda, as the Black Panther. He understands what symbolism means. And that's why T'Challa had Captain America whisked away so he could be safe, right? But on the very next few panels, you had Clea and Doctor Strange trying to figure out what they needed to do in order to save planet Earth. And Steve and Clea, his wife, are now trying to come up with a spell to eradicate all vampire individuals on planet Earth. And then out of the shadows, you have Blade just walk in. Now, you need to understand that the Sanctum Sanctorum has all kind of mystic wards and spells and protections that not just anybody can either see and or come in. You and I just can't come off the street and say, hey, I need to see the doctor. Is the doctor in? That's not going to happen, right? But Blade was able to not only see the Sanctum Sanctorum, but was able to walk in unchallenged, no issues whatsoever. And he peeked what Clea and Strange are doing. and Blade is like, you know what? I didn't know that this could be or would be done. I didn't know if Wanda would do it. I kind of thought that you guys would do it, but I wasn't sure. And so when he's going through these panels and asking questions, and it's very just kind of, matter of fact. As I said a moment ago, earlier on, I figured Blade was that dude when the truck that he was driving ended up in their station, in their base with all kinds of bad guys in it. I figured, okay, yeah, he is really setting them up for something. And so Blade is trying to figure out, okay, what are they doing? How can I stop it? What needs to happen? And then the very last panel of this book is Blade, the
Ooh.
Daywalker, chomping into Doctor Strange's neck. And I'm like, does he not have any type of spider sense? I understand that Blade has been an ally or whatever, but you didn't see that coming. I mean, I saw that coming 3 pages ago. Like, what the hell is going on? You're supposed to
So,
be
in answer to
going with
y'all's
some
questions, who haven't read this, who's the big bad? It's me.
Yep. Yeah, like I saw this coming. When he walked into his sanctum sanctorum, I saw this coming. And I was like, oh my goodness. Oh, I was like that oh yeah. This was a very, very good book because it introduced new characters. It was full of action, and it had a cliffhanger that makes you want to know, oh my goodness, what's going to happen next. If I were to give Blood Hunt #1 a ranking on a scale of 1 to 10,
Yeah,
I would give it a 36.3.
Yeah.
This book was very, very, very good. If you're not collecting Blood Hunt, highly encourage you to pick up at least the main story. Very good book.
Yeah, if you're not into crossovers, if you're not into tie-ins and stuff, I get it. It tends to be a money grab, but God, dog, this book was
This was a
good.
This was a
This
good
book was good.
Very,
I've been
very
talking about Jed McKay for a while now in terms of how good he's doing a job he's doing on Moon Knight and Avengers. But this is like a whole nother level, man. Shout out to that dude, man. He did the damn thing.
The art is
Art by
spectacular.
Pepe. Look, my boy Pepe Larraz got in trouble just like a month ago because he did that art, the X-Men cover that had all these X-Men on it for the Krakoan era and had like one black mutant. Like one. And he got a lot of heat for that. He made up for it in this book.
This book is spectacular.
This book is awesome.
Cannot say enough good stuff about Blood Hunt #1. All right.
Let's go to the chat and hear what the people are saying about this.
Yep.
Oh wow. Y'all been busy in the chat. I apologize. It's hard to talk and see what you guys do at the same time. All right. So let's see. Someone said tentacles could pierce Iron Man's suit. I think we saw that.
Yeah, there was the bad guy who basically got into Iron Man's suit.
I like how the tendrils attack where weak points in the armor would be. Yeah,
and see, here's the thing. Tony Stark was basically saying they're in the suit. How are they in the suit? Tony Stark has been doing this for quite some time. And his suit is pretty much hermetically sealed. You're not going to be worried about nuclear attacks. You're not going to be worried about gases or things of that nature getting in. But somehow these tendrils are in there basically attacking Tony the Man. And he's befuddled as to how that could happen. It's very, very interesting. It's very, very good.
Our Nigerian brother Murua Ayodele points out that there is a scene where Miles Morales is approached by Blade. He's like, "Oh, my man Blade, man, these vampires out here going kind of crazy. What we gonna do?" He's like, "I have something for you to do." And we don't see Miles Morales after that.
Oh, let me go back to something before you continue with the chat. Dr. Doom is in this book for a panel or two.
That's right.
Dr. Doom is the ruler of Latveria. Not only is he a brilliant scientist, but he is one of the top 3 mystics on planet Earth. Right. In fact, he felt after Doctor Strange died in his own title that he, Doom, should be the Sorcerer Supreme of planet Earth. He has that skill. He has that ability. So he has erected wards around Latveria that protect it from vampire invasion. Dr. Doom is that dude. Victor is that
you had this vampire chasing
this couple.
These vampires were chasing these people across the border into Latveria. And they're afraid to go to Latveria because it's Dr. Doom, it's Latveria. But they're like, look, we either face the vampires, we face Dr. Doom. They ran into Latveria across the border. The vampires chased after them. As soon as they crossed the border, they went into full flames. I don't know if this is like a laser defense system or if Doom, being the mystic that he is, has some type of enchantment over Latveria's borders to kill vampires.
That's what it is. It is some type of enchantment that he has used to protect his citizens or those within the boundaries of Latveria.
So clearly, I think by doing this little cameo, McKay is going to set Doom up to be a major player in this storyline.
Yeah.
So that's kind of dope.
Yeah,
that was a dope scene.
It really was. It really was.
Let's check out the rest of the chat. Where were we?
What else we had on this issue?
When did T'Challa and Carol Danvers patch things up after the Ultimates? Patch things up.
The Ultimates is its own thing, so you can't read the Ultimates in conjunction with the 616 and think that everything is tied in because it's
no. He's talking about the Ultimates comic book.
Oh, the Ultimates with Blue.
Remember, they're on the same team.
Yes.
By Al Ewing.
Yes.
Well, I mean, look, they've been on the Avengers since then.
Yeah,
they've been on the Avengers since then. Not just this current Avengers run, but the one prior to that. T'Challa was the team leader of Avengers, and Carol was a member of the team. So they would have patched up a while ago. Isn't the Ultimates an alternate universe? Yes, it is. It is not the 1610 that was the prior Ultimate universe. This is now called the what's the number for this new universe?
I don't remember.
I forget the number of the new universe. It's not 1610. I thought it was mainline continuity. This current book we're talking about right now is the mainline continuity. One was short, really.
Run was very short, and that was mainline continuity.
T'Challa was saying he doesn't know who these guys are.
Right.
You have to be scared when T'Challa doesn't know who the hell you are.
Right.
The city only knows Sam as that name, Captain America.
Captain America.
He went out samurai style. Yeah, man, my man went out like a G. If T'Challa gonna die, at least he gonna go out like a G. I'm pretty sure that Black Panther isn't currently carrying any vibranium.
I won't say that.
Not necessarily true.
Yeah, I won't say that.
We did an interview with Eve Ewing, and she confirmed his suit does indeed have vibranium in it. You said T'Challa never died. I did say T'Challa never died.
We don't know that he's dead
until now, but we don't know if he's dead. We just, I mean, his comics being impaled by a large arm through the middle of your chest may not be fatal.
Does not mean that you are dead.
Does not mean, especially he has a slight healing factor. So I don't think a normal person could have a huge arm through their chest and still finish the words, "You need to be the symbol."
Oh, stop that.
Well, he has the healing factor that allows him to do that.
T'Challa has never died in comics. He's come close at least twice, but he's never officially died.
He's been comatose a couple times, but he's never died before.
Right.
As you cannot see, I am still not dead. That's what I want to see in the next issue.
Right.
But he's not going to be dead. Why? Because he's probably going to become a vampire. He's going to be undead. T'Challa's not dead. I mean, I'm joking. He's not dead. We already know T'Challa from the Solicits is going to become a vampire. There's a whole series called Black Panther Vampire Blood Hunt. So he's not going to die. He's going to be undead. Don't know what T'Challa's shield is made of. I assume it's made of
vibranium and plastic.
It's got to be made of vibranium. IMF says he likes the shield. T'Challa just can't catch a break. Marvel definitely hates. No, they're gonna give him a whole series out of him being undead. So I'm being facetious and joking when I said T'Challa's dead. He's not dead. He's undead, or about to be.
He's gravely injured, is what he is.
He is not happy. Damn, and he would die when Krakoa is no longer around because he could come back as a mutant.
No, that's not how that works.
There's a reason Ms. Marvel came back, because she actually was a mutant. She just had a latent mutant gene that hadn't activated yet.
She was an Inhuman, and
at least that's the circuitous explanation they gave to, as I said before, make the comics consistent with what's in the MCU. They're always going to do that. Vagrant says, I'm new to this channel, but now I know beyond a doubt that ATL Bird is a straight up savage with his pastels on. Yeah, absolutely. Armistead Gwaltney, perhaps Bast will make an appearance in this series.
Bast is chilling. She's not thinking about T'Challa.
Bast and T'Challa ain't getting along right now. Vagrant, congrats on becoming a new Lord. Yeah, certainly. He took a talon claw to the chest. That was a whole fist. That was a whole hand and arm through the chest.
It doesn't mean he's dead.
It doesn't mean he's dead. Because comics. Frustrated Spam shows. Thanks. I thought Krakoa could only resurrect muties. That is
Hey, we don't say that around here.
Watch your mouth, man.
Not mutees, all right?
Blade has always been familiar with the mystic arts. This is nothing new.
Right. That is correct.
That is correct. My manifesto, Ms. Marvel wasn't a mutant at first, so let's make Black Panther one now.
No.
I will say this. First of all, if you haven't already, highly recommend you pick up this book, Black Panther, T'Challa Declassified. This book is canon by Marvel. And if you ever want a deep dive to know who T'Challa is, you will never find a book better than this currently. This has more information on T'Challa than any other previous book ever made. I promise you this. You can check out my interview of the writer, Mr. Walter Broadus. But, one of the things that I found interesting, understand, only certain people in Wakanda can take the heart-shaped herb and live.
Let's not get off on too much of a tangent.
I'm not getting off on a tangent. This just has to do with his point. Because that you have to be, in essence, be an ancestor of Bashenga to be able to take the heart-shaped herb. Now, there's he has lots of cousins. T'Challa has lots of cousins and stuff that could also take the heart-shaped herb and potentially become the Black Panther. In essence, royalty can become Black Panther someday. Does that make them mutants? Because it has an extra.
They don't have the extra.
And let me finish. Let me finish what I said, please. The vibranium and the heart-shaped herb mutated his genes in a way that it's now passed on to his progeny, and they have an extra gene that allows them to tolerate taking the heart-shaped herb. Does that, by definition, make them?
No.
Is that a mutation? Is that a mutation for purposes of becoming a mutant?
They have an immunity to this specific substance hereditarily, but they do not have the X gene. So no.
How is that? Okay. Yes. Because the X gene is a specific gene of mutation.
Correct.
But it's kind of splitting hairs between a hereditary trait.
It's an immunity. There's a difference.
Well, it's not just an immunity, it's ability to take a particular substance and make it manifest into powers.
Some individuals have genetically a predisposition to alcoholism, as an example. That is the equivalent of what these people are going through who are descended from Bashenga. Because their hereditary line has been ingesting this substance forever, the progeny have an immunity to it. It does not give them the X gene. They do not have special powers outside of taking the heart-shaped herb or being able to ingest and metabolize the heart-shaped herb. No, they are not.
And that is your microbiology lesson for the day. I manifestos. How does one become a lord? Well, for one, you got to subscribe to the Black Comic Lords channel and hit the like button and share the videos. Watch us every week, comment in the chat, and guess what? You're a Black Comic Lord. Hype style. Somebody get Boy Thing to cure Dark Blade from whatever curse he's under. He can't stay a bad guy forever. This is going to infuriate Black fandom in the long run to keep him in the heel status.
No, because we all understand that at the end of this run, that Blade will be the baby face once again. That is a wrestling term. We understand for this purposes, he is the heel, and it is a good heel turn. I'm really looking forward to this, but we all know that Blade is going to be back to normal. And as Paul said earlier in this conversation, that probably the reason why he was able to be the heel is because of what Brian Edward Hill set up in the Blade run with his battle with Adana or Adina or
Adana
or whatever. But he's going to be back to the anti-hero at the conclusion of this. I have no doubt.
Quadwo asked that you stop saying truth, justice, and American way. It is a bit unnerving.
That's Captain America.
Whatever. Captain.
And it's Marc with the C, by the way.
I'm Manifesto. Like, comment, subscribe, and watch the videos. You get entry to becoming a lord. Yep, that is the key to success. Pepe didn't deserve heat. Marvel needed to have more B-list Black mutants.
Yeah.
Well, Chillmonger is so funny. A B-list character is a A-list character who has not been promoted well or written well. Is what I'd say to that. Are they really in the suit, or is it mentally induced pain thing? I think they're really.
Talking about Tony Stark, he's really in that suit.
I think he's really in the suit because the suit itself said we're compromised.
Right.
In that case, I dub myself Lord I Manifesto. Congratulations. He was talking about Ultimates being main continuity. It's not. It is not. It is not.
Ultimate Universe is not. I think that Ultimates book with Carol Danvers, Black Panther,
Blue Marvel, and Monica Rambeau.
Yeah, I think that pretty much
America Chavez.
I think that was main continuity.
That was absolutely main continuity. That was the 616 universe. Absolutely. Blood Hunt is starting to remind me of the symbiote crossover where everyone got a Venom suit.
I can see why you would say that.
I could see that, but I could see this being much better, well written than that storyline.
I didn't get anything in that other than the Jeffrey Thorne Black Panther book.
He can no longer go chest naked without exposing gruesome scarring. He's got a healing factor. It'll be all healed up. He'll be all right.
That's funny.
I remember when Doom and Dracula had a run-in, a few panels in Captain Britain series. Very interesting dialogue between the two.
I've never read that.
I haven't read that either. If you know the issues of that, G-Town, let us know. I'd be curious to read that myself. Because of the melanin, Black people tend to be resistant to poison ivy. I once got some on my back, and it was a single bump that didn't itch at all that much.
Okay, interesting.
Little known Black history fact. Speaking of genetic resistances, that is. Okay. All right, so we're all caught up on that.
So, if you have not gleaned this from this conversation, Blood Hunt is the book that you want to be picking up. So
by far the book of the week.
Yep.
Not even close.
The next book is Night Thrasher. I don't have much to say at the very, very start of this comic. At the very, very start of this conversation, I mentioned how, you know, stuff is going to happen later on in the book, but you don't really care. This is what I meant. I'm going to finish the series out. This Night Thrasher series is mid. It's okay. There's nothing special about it. Unless you like the character, artist, or writer, there's no need, in my humble opinion, for you to rush out and get this book. It's mid. I don't even want to go into what happens in here. Basically, I'll say this. You have characters fighting against gentrification. That's the storyline in this book. It's mid. It's mid. That's my take on it.
Yeah, I mean,
and I know that the character Night Thrasher is one of Paul's, top 5 favorite comic book heroes ever, and he's not number 5. This series is mid.
I absolutely love Night Thrasher. I love the New Warriors back in the 1990s. They were among my favorite definite top 3 comic books I was reading in the 90s was the New Warriors. Loved that series. I literally own all the issues and all the volumes of the New Warriors. Um, in large part, mostly because of Night Thrasher. Um,
What is it, Dwayne Taylor?
Dwayne Taylor. He was killed prior to the Civil War. It's what helped manifest the Civil War. He was brought back after Contest of Champions, I think was the book.
Yep.
He was plucked out of an alternative timeline and brought into the 616 universe. And he's kind of disappeared after that. He had a short appearance in a couple issues of The Punisher where he was trying to become a vigilante again. And then after that, you never saw him. You'd see him on Marvel Voices covers to have people like me say, "Oh, Night Thrasher's back in the Marvel Voices book," and he's not inside the book. I was very pissed off about that. But we haven't seen the dude, and the explanation as to what he's been doing over the last few years or since he's come back, it wasn't really much of an explanation. His motivations aren't really gone into depth enough for me.
It's not a good.
The explanation of the storyline, the basis of just fighting against gentrification. I mean,
it's not a good book.
You couldn't have him fight a big bad. I mean, he's got the New Warriors has a rogues gallery of people to choose from. Have him fight.
And you don't even see all of the New Warriors. You see Dwayne, you see Rage, and you see Silhouette. That's it. Those three.
Bring back Nova. Speedball's out there as penance. You know what happened to him? Make it a New Warriors reunion book.
It's not a good book.
The dude came back, and the rest of his squad isn't like, "Oh, our dude is back. Let's check up on him." I mean, that's the storyline you should have kind of added to this. I don't know. There's a lot of things they could have done, and it just wasn't done in this book for me.
Basically, Paul just gave you a lot of words to say this is not a good book, and this is one of his favorite characters. It's not a good book. It's just not.
I don't want to besmirch the creators on it, but damn, this book.
Listen. Let's be objective. The reason
I'm being objective. No,
hold on. Let me finish. The reason why we do this is because me, Paul, and those of you who are watching, we are comic book fans, right? And we give you our opinions based on our, 40 plus years experience collecting and reading comic books. And I, as a comic book reader and collector, am nowhere near impressed with this book. Whoever the writer and artist are, they've been around for however long they've been around. They've done whatever they've done. But this particular series is not necessarily a good one. That is being objective. That's not shitting on them as individuals. It's not shitting on them as creatives. But this particular volume of Night Thrasher is not a good one. It's just not.
Why does Rage look like Luke Cage?
Yeah, that's a good point. He does.
There's literally no difference. We couldn't update his look and make him look like.
Okay, so let's move on from Night Thrasher. It's not a good book.
Yeah, I don't really have anything else.
There's nothing to say. It's not a good book. It's
just what was that? Was there another book we had?
Final book, Unnatural Order. Oh. This issue.
I didn't get to read this issue, so you're gonna have to talk about it.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go much into it. I've mentioned this book before. It's written by Christopher Yost, but the reason why we're mentioning this is because the main character is a Black soldier. The world has been changed, right? If you remember the X-Men of the 1990s, late 80s, there was a character by the name of Kulan Goth who created a spell that changed modern world into basically the Hyberian age.
Or the Conan books as well.
Correct. It was basically going from modern times to an age of sword, sandal, and sorcery. That's what Kulan Goth did in the in the X-Men books. Very, very, that sticks in my mind from, 40 years ago. It was very well done. This book is in that same vein, okay? And I started reading it because one of the individuals at my local comic book store recommended it to me because there's a book I read in the same universe called Berserk. I like the sword and sorcery type storyline. This book, there's a creature who has created a spell based going to the Hadron Collider in CERN, and through this mysticism, through planet Earth back to before bombs, electricity, modern times, where everybody was living in the same universe, kind of like a Bronze Age universe. So there's a guy who is a soldier from modern times who has not been affected by the spell that has infected planet Earth. And so he is doing his level best to stop that creature or that individual from casting this spell to make things back to what we call normal. It is an extremely good book. It is an extremely good read. I'm not going to give spoilers on this, but I would highly encourage you guys to read this book. If you like Conan type stuff, if you like sword and sorcery type storylines, this is a very, very good book. On a scale of 1 to 10, I would give it an 8. This is a very good story. And even though it ends at issue number 4, they have set it up for future storylines. I'm not going to tell you what they did, but I'm looking forward to seeing what happens next. It's a good read. It is a very
I haven't read this current issue. I've been following the series. Marc put me onto this book. Loved the book. Art was okay, but the storyline was really dope. And I could see this being a movie or at least a short mini series on one of the streaming channels, and it'd be very good. Think of a Game of Thrones meets Reacher or something. It was
no. What was a Kurt Russell movie from 1993?
Oh, Escape from New York? No,
no
1993? Soldiers?
No. There was a series of it where they went through the gate.
Stargate.
It is a Stargate-esque type storyline.
Yeah. Dope.
It's a very good read. I would recommend this book, this series.
Absolutely.
Night Thrasher, not so much. Unnatural Order, definitely.
Unnatural Order is a good book. Unnatural Order is a good book.
Yep.
Let's check out some of our comments here. Louisiana Kid asks, have you guys reviewed the latest Jon Stewart War Journal book yet? This thing is dragging on.
That one. Not to mention that one. I read it. We have not reviewed the most recent issue.
Yeah, we could do that next week. Captain Britain, MI13 issue 10. Okay. I have a few issues that MI13. I have the issue Blade joined MI13. It was funny. I forget who was brought the subject up. Maybe it was earlier in this live even. People are surprised to learn that Blade is actually British. Because when people read Blade, they think of Wesley Snipes, not realizing Blade is British, British. He's always been British.
And when you look
inception of the character,
when you look at Blade and the Blood Hunt series, I see Wesley Snipes. That's who it appears to be based on from a drawing standpoint. And, again, like Paul said, I don't think of a Brit. I think of a black dude from wherever Wesley's from. So, yeah.
So I think in the comic book, in the movie, he was from Detroit or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, or Philly, something like that. I meant to ask my lords what they thought of Keanu Reeves' Berserker.
Loved it.
And technically kind of a black book because the character's mom was black.
We've mentioned it, yeah. Love Berserk. And there was a one shot that came out either earlier this year, and I'll tell you what it was. But that one shot was really good. Hold on, I'll tell you what it is. But continue real quick.
They thought, what is that symbol? Something of it. I don't know. Berserker. Vagrant says, if a man out of place is your thing, ages ago, Punisher did a story where he was shot down in a helicopter, and starting with just the clothes on his back, he forged and took down a criminal base. Was that Punisher War Journal? Or was that the one with Jim Lee?
I don't know. But going back to what he was saying about Berserker, there was a one-shot called Berserker Fallen Empire that was dropped on November 20th of 2023. Berserker is that book. And in fact, I would encourage you guys, if you're interested in a man out of time type storyline, read Berserker Fallen Empire first, and then the 12-issue Berserker storyline. Very, very good book. Love Berserker.
Well, all right. We're going to go to another commercial break. Take this as an opportunity to go get a drink, use the bathroom, watch our commercials. But most importantly, please, I beg of you, hit the like button. Subscribe to our channel. If you're a lot of new people watching us right now, subscribe to our channel. If you're digging what we're doing, subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing. Just hit the button and helps us to do what we do. We got a lot of people on Twitter tonight. People on Twitter, my Twitter people, my ex people, please repost the video. Repost this video as you're watching it on Twitter. That will also help us out, and it costs you nothing. Appreciate it. All right, so let's go to our commercial break. I don't know where the commercials are that Dr. Wizard has for us, but I'll just keep scrolling and pretending I know what I'm doing until I find the commercial. Actually, I have a better idea. There's a commercial I want to show from here. There's an upcoming con in August called Atlantic Con, being done by phenomenal writer Greg Burnham and one of our Black comic community members, Duran Flood. It's going to be a huge Black Con event built for all of us, specifically all of us. And had a conversation with Flood today, and he made me realize something. The Black Comic Lords, all of us are going to be panel moderators for this con. And if my whole squad does what they say they're going to do, we're all going to be there at this con for the very first time live. Because not all the Black Comic Lords have been in one spot live in the same spot ever. This will be our first time. It's going to be kind of special for all of us. And all of you who go to the con can see that. So I want to share this trailer for this con.
I'm also a cosplayer.
I'm a comic book writer, publisher, editor.
My name is Duran Flood, gym owner, and Norfolk Fitness First Training Services is the gym.
Co-creator of Tuskegee Airs, creator of Little Rock Files, The Search for Sadaka. I've done a few things with DC Comics.
Hold several different events around the Hampton Roads area. My biggest one is...
Hold on. I completely screwed.
Bless your heart.
Best intentions. You look good. Let me zoom in on you. You got a bow tie? What is that?
Bow tie with horses on it. I had this whole outfit put together for the Kentucky Derby in 2019. My buttons have horses on them. You can't see that. Obviously, this is custom made.
Wow, you're going to do the whole thing.
Oh yeah, of course.
You really think everyone cares? All right, that's cool. It looks wonderful for what it is. So let's go back to the show.
Since about 1992, I'm also a cosplayer. Why are we bringing Atlantic Comic Con to Norfolk specifically? There's a need. To my knowledge, there isn't anybody throwing a con in Norfolk.
So we're using Kickstarter platform. You can pre-order your guest passes for the weekend. We have hotel packages, also like sponsorship, which we need. There's tons of costs that come in with throwing a convention of the magnitude that we're trying to do. We've been doing it out of pocket. So it would, like, if we were able to get that money just to make sure that we can provide like a really good guest experience for like some of the OGs, we want to give them their flowers, but we also want our artists, our vendors, and all attendees to have a really good time. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to do it either way, but
if we're able to get, the help from the community, that's just going to make it even sweeter.
There's going to be a literacy component, and we're also going to have exposure for any aspiring writers or artists. There's going to be people who work within the industry, whether you're trying to be a comic book writer or a novelist or whatever. There's going to be all types of talent there, and you'll be able to be exposed to those folks and develop some relationships as well.
So in short, we need your help. Anything you can give, whether you want to participate in the convention or help to sponsor, or even just give some money to help make it happen, we'd be more than grateful.
Empty your wallet. We need your money. This is a beautiful cause. We're going to bring all of the talent out, and we can't do it without your help. So I'm going to be the yin to his yang, and I'm going to say, let's do it.
That's the show. I hope y'all can make that. We're gonna go to some more commercials that we have here, and when we get back, we'll get back to what you watching.
Where's our black real estate in comics? What do I mean? Let's check out Black Panther. He is gone from the MCU for reasons. And what is happening in the comics? We can complain all day about how our champion is being treated, but we don't own that character. Look at Milestone character, curated by one of the greats, Dwayne McDuffie, my guy. But we don't really own or control any of his characters. DC does. So I'll ask again, where is our black real estate in comics? Meet Delta Dogs from Millennial Comics, created and controlled by us, where story sits in the forefront. Delta Dogs is more than just black characters being black for the sake of being black. This story is about 7 cousins that gets into an encounter with a mysterious glowing stranger that changes their lives forever. And with their unique abilities, this family may be the one thing that can save their hood that's being ruled over by a vicious super gang. With an ex-criminal as their leader and other superheroes that looks the other way when it comes to their environment, this will be an impossible mission to pull off. Grab these books in our hardcover Ultimate Edition bundle at millennialcomic.com so we can really have some skin in the game when it comes to the comic book industry. Keep doing y'all thing, Black Comic Lords. Peace.
Dear Mr. Billy Graham, I know this letter is late, but you know what they say, better late than never. And I'm writing to you because I know you'll never read this or hear this. It's a measure of therapy for me, I guess. Wondering how you never get mentioned when you are really only one of the few worth mentioning. After all, I don't think Sam and Dave had you in mind, but without question, you are a soul man. How else can you explain how a man can draw tears so well if he never shed any tears of his own? Yes, and I hear music, especially drums, when I see jungle action panels. And when I see Luke Cage panels, I hear the jukebox blaring out horns in the after hours joint. I guess I'm trying to say, Mr. Graham, that I dig your style, and you deserve to be celebrated like the heroes you drew. Like I said, you won't see or hear this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Thank you, Mr. Billy Graham. You are a Black History legend. Respectfully, the Black Comic Lords. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, peace.
And we are. Where is this guy? Oh, there you are. Were you changing outfits? What was? All right, whatever. All right, so we're back.
So real quick, run through what's coming up next week on Wednesday. Real quick, what should people be looking forward to?
You mean the books?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Hold on a sec. Let me pull that up.
The solicits, as you put it.
Well, it's funny you should mention that. Here's what's coming out next week for the week of May 8th. Remember I told you Jed McKay's killing it on the Avengers. So now a bunch of Avengers got bodied or whatever, turned, what have you.
I'm an Avengers guy. I've been collecting Avengers since issue number 1. I'm really enjoying the storyline. Issue 14 apparently is coming out next week. It ties into Blood Hunt. So if you are going to be picking up the Blood Hunt, you may very well want to pick up this specific issue.
So a new Avengers team has to be formed. Captain America, the real Captain America, Steve Rogers, has to form a new squad because he's not on the old squad. Sam Wilson's on that squad. And so he's got Kate Bishop. Sam Wilson here looks like he is Ghost Rider. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, actually.
Huh.
That's interesting.
Vision. But the new squad consists of Quicksilver, Hercules, Hazmat, I think her name is, and Kate Bishop, Hawkeye.
Okay, yeah.
You see them surrounded by Nazi vampires. So I have
Nazi.
no idea what the storyline's about. I want to be surprised.
What else?
Next up, we have.
Green. I gotta get that green one.
Let's see. I have this Batman book on the list because Amanda Waller is on the cover. But the solicit, I will tell you to be wary about this because I don't know if she's really going to have an issue, if she's going to be in this issue. She's on this cover, but it says, I don't see, with no allies, weapons, almost no hope, can Batman fight back before Zor makes a true devil's bargain. The world is about to know Zor's true power. Him and his new sidekick. Dark Prisons continues. I guess the illusion is Dark Zor. Zor probably makes a deal with Amanda Waller. I don't know, but if you're at your LCS, I'd thumb through it to make sure she's actually in it before you actually spent money on this issue.
As I've been saying in this space for at least 2 months now, Amanda Waller is one of my favorite comic book characters.
Absolutely.
So I love her.
Absolutely. Birds of Prey is on this list because they just upped their roster with Vixen, who's also one of my favorite DC characters at this point.
Real quick, one of my Morehouse brothers, I don't know if he's watching, I sent him the link, but one of my boys, Jamie Ayers, he has the first appearance of Vixen in the comics, and that is issue
Action Comics 521.
Yep. And he bought a 9.2 rated version of that, and he said he got it for $100, which is not bad at all.
That's a steal.
Yeah.
That's a steal. Next up I have on this list is Boy Wonder, which is a story about Damian Wayne, but it's done by the artist Juni Ba, black artist, who is doing both writing and art on this book.
Okay.
He's got a very unique art style.
Is that issue 1 or
this is issue 1? Issue 1 comes out next week.
When? Okay.
Here's Juni Ba right here.
Oh, he's colored. Okay.
He is a man of color, yes. Deadpool number 2. Deadpool, first of all, this cover is by Torrin Clark, one of my favorite cover artists of all time. This is on the list because it's written by my boy Cody Ziegler. Why is he not in the credits here? That's weird.
I'm really looking forward to that movie. I'm really looking forward to Deadpool 3.
Yeah. Cody Ziegler's a great writer. He's the writer on Miles Morales, writer on Spider-Punk.
Did not like Spider-Punk.
If you're not into punk culture, I could understand. So, remember we mentioned the tie-ins to Blood Hunt. First tie-in comes out next week, Dracula Blood Hunt number 1, with our special guest host, Bloodline, Blade's daughter. She's teaming up with Dracula.
Oh, I like that cover.
Look at this cover. I'm just going just by the art. That looks like Manahini. Yep. Mateus Manahini variant. This is the cover I would get. This is a black artist. That's fire. That's a dope cover.
That's good. Okay, what's next?
Next we have. I'm not familiar with this book. It's a brand new book. Black indie book, Scout Comics, Papa Duke. I know nothing about this book. But this cover, with this woman on this cover, just looks beautiful.
Yeah. Okay.
In development, it says the solicit in development with Sony Entertainment. So this is being optioned. Papa Duke is the feared ruler of Bloodworld and the psychopathic leader of the Knight of Cadillac gangs. He is the Thanos of the Knight of the Cadillac universe. Assisted by his fiendish disciple Ives, Papa Duke positions the beautiful Mother Vega as the ultimate goddess queen of his domain. But first, Papa Duke and Ives must destroy everything Mother Vega cares about, including her lover Cassandra.
Interesting.
So, written by Amy DeLong, art by Gershon Villamore. I don't know who those people are.
Yeah, me.
But this cover and the other cover for this book,
that's tight. I like that.
This covers are
He's
dope.
kind of fun, actually. Okay. So, are there any other mainstream other than the random books?
Yeah,
books that folks need to take a look at.
There's Rebel Moon, House of Blood Axe.
I've heard the series is not good. I heard I heard it wasn't good. I've not seen either one. I just heard it wasn't good. Look, we've been on here for 2 hours. Yes or no? Is it good or not?
It's entertaining. I find it entertaining. Is it earth-shattering? No. Is it Dune, which I found to be phenomenal? Dune Part 2 was phenomenal. Best movie I've seen all year. Okay. No, it's not that.
Okay.
But is it worth watching with some popcorn in your living room? Sure.
Okay.
I would say that. Star Wars: The High Republic #7. I talk about these High Republic books all the time and how fantastic Melanation has been, how fantastic the story has been. This volume, I will say, however, has been a little slow. It has not been as exciting as the first volume of High Republic. I think this is the third volume at this point of High Republic. It hasn't really captured my imagination as the first 2 volumes, but I'm still collecting it.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes, we do. I'm getting there, man. Be so impatient. Strange Academy, Blood Hunt has a tie-in.
Oh.
So we will see Dr. Voodoo fight some vampires at Strange Academy. Strange Academy has been one of the best comic books Marvel makes. I'm not even exaggerating. This book has been good from the very beginning.
Now, here's what's interesting. I have been a long-time Doctor Strange fan. I have the first meeting between Monica Rambeau and the Scarlet Witch, which ties into the WandaVision storyline. I have a couple issues of Volume 1. I have pretty much all of Volume 2. I don't have any of Strange Academy, so I may need to.
You are remiss, my friend, because Strange Academy is an excellent book, both in the writing and in the art.
Yep.
And finally, I have on this list Wolverine. This Sabretooth War storyline in Wolverine has been nothing short of wonderful. Co-written.
You mentioned that earlier because of Eve, right?
Correct.
Right.
Correct. Yeah. He's the writer on Eve. He's also the writer of a series called The Destroyer. He was also a writer on Marvel, most recently on the Sabretooth and the Exiles books. So he created a new black character called Third Eye, which is a really dope character. He created possibly the first majority black mutant team in X-Men comics in the Exiles, where he had Necra, Edie Okonkwo, and Third Eye on the same team. So I thought that was kind of dope too. But yeah, I'm here for it. He's on top of it all. This has just been a great, fantastic Wolverine run. If you're a Wolverine fan, you're digging the Sabretooth War run right now. So those are our books coming out next week.
What other comments do we have?
Huh?
What other comments do we have real quick before we go
Oh,
on?
comments.
Comments, yes.
Let's see. Vagrant says, bad news, Twitter isn't a real place.
That's a lie.
Well, sure. Yes, with a reference to the con, you'll get to meet all of us at that con. Paul had a Herschel moment. That's when I accidentally turned off the video. That is true. Pia's a sneak diss pro. Do I diss people sneakily?
No, you pretty much do it blatantly, honestly.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty overt with my disses. I don't try to hide my hands. I diss you to your face. That's how I'm from Brooklyn. Vagrant sounds a bit like Rambo. Okay. Good point. He was right, by the way. It was Punisher War Journal. Oh, got that off the top of my head. Look at that. Comic knowledge is irrelevant. Killmonger had that show enough hairdo. Sure. Yeah.
That dude is dead. The guy who played Shonuff, he's been dead for quite some time. I didn't realize that.
Yo, but dude, the guy who played the comedic actor Charlie something. He was on Blackish. He played the other black dude that the main character worked with.
Charlie.
Huh? Charlie. He played Charlie.
Yeah.
What's his name?
The actual Cole, Dion Cole.
Dion Cole. Did you see the picture he did in the Shonuff outfit?
No. Yes. He looked. I'm sorry.
Dead ass, just like him.
A lot like him. He looks just like him. Yes, I saw that a couple of years ago. Yes. So basically, if you've seen the show Blackish, the character Anthony Anderson's character works at a advertising firm. It's predominantly white, but there's another character, who works with him, another black character played by Dion Cole. Dion Cole is a writer who came from Conan O'Brien, very, very funny on that show. The actor Dion Cole, cosplayed as Shonuff from The Last Dragon. He looks exactly like that dude.
He did.
Yeah.
He looked exactly like him. Not even joking.
This was about 3-4 years ago. He looked a lot like him.
Eerie how much he looked like him.
He looked a lot like him. But yeah, the main actor, he's been dead for a few years.
So which Captain America has the vibranium adamantium shield?
Sam.
I think technically that would make Sam's shield stronger than Steve's.
Sam.
Kate Bishop cover is dope.
It was.
That Ghost Falcon would be a nice poster. Ghost Rider Falcon. Yeah, that Ghost Rider picture was kind of cool.
It was.
Who made the alternative shield? Is it just vibranium? It was made by T'Challa, actually. Which is another reason why having him and Sam fight was stupid. It was a stupid plot point. Juniba is amazing, Mr. Akande says.
Dude, it's got to be like 5 o'clock in Nigeria right now.
And these brothers are still watching us. We appreciate that, man.
Thank you for sticking with us.
We got to have you on the show. Please come join us.
He's going to be on in June if you're not elsewhere. Otherwise,
I probably will be elsewhere, but we'll work it out. Deadpool and Taskmaster is a no-brainer. Yeah, I mean, those guys together are really dope series.
Like that Dracula cover was nice.
Yeah. Rebel Moon Part 2. I couldn't sit past.
I heard it was ass. I've seen a lot of folks.
Yeah, I mean,
I heard it was ass.
Yeah, I started watching the Part 2. I have not finished it.
But then you said, "Oh yeah, it's entertaining." Blah blah blah. But
it's entertaining in bits.
Up until 20 minutes. Okay,
up until 20 minutes. Was that Stream Academy cover drawn by the guy from Battle Chasers? I don't know who Battle Chasers is, but the cover was drawn by the writer Humberto Ramos. No, sorry, the artist Humberto Ramos. The writer is Scotty Young, oddly enough. Who knew Scotty Young could write? That adamantium suit could have been useful for Wolverine. Yeah, I mean, this isn't the first time he's had an armored suit. They're like regurgitating a little bit of the storyline, because when Wolverine lost his abilities, he had a suit before he died. Still waiting for the Mark D. Bright. Man, don't get me started. We're now officially past a month from when the legendary artist Marc D. Bright died.
Right.
And neither
And
neither
nothing.
Marvel, DC, or Milestone has issued any memoriams for him.
Right.
Paul Neary, we talk about Blood Hunt, right? On the very first page of I think Blood Hunt is a tribute to the artist Paul Neary for Marvel, who died a week after Marc Bright.
So this is the Blade. Hold on a second. Stop. This is the Blade book, right? Blade issue number 10. Right here is Paul Neary tribute, right? We've had nothing in reference to Marc Bright, and both DC and Marvel have shit the bed in regards to this. They have overlooked a Black creative who is very important in this space, and they should be ashamed of themselves.
Absolutely ashamed.
Yep.
You can't hide from
There is
that.
no justification for it.
There's literally no justification. They have not given this man his flowers.
Yeah.
This man worked on some of the dopest books these companies have ever done.
Yep.
My run of Iron Man began because of this man's artwork. He's what got me into liking Iron Man.
All right, so let me stop this. For those of you who are watching us right now, who are on the Twitters or X or whatever you call it, hit up Marvel. Marvel comic arm is at Marvel. We should start a hashtag. Where is Marc Bright? Right?
Yeah.
Or some type of tribute, some type of something that's catchy, where we can let those folks know that Marc Bright needs his flowers.
Where is Marc Bright? Where is MD Bright tribute?
I like
Where
that.
is
MD Bright tribute?
Where is MD Bright tribute?
Hashtag where is MD Bright tribute?
Let's start that.
Tag Marvel or whatever. So in your spaces, if you are on the Twitters, where is MD Bright tribute? That's a good one. That is very, very good because they've done absolutely nothing. That man has been passed for at least a month now. So yeah, that is very good. Where's MD Bright tribute? Absolutely. What else we got?
We put it up here. Where is MD Bright tribute? I need you all to hashtag. All 170 of you watching us right now, go on your socials and tag Marvel, tag DC, hell, even tag Milestone, and hashtag where is MD Bright tribute. It's absurd. If you Google this man and you look up his works, the books that he's worked on from all of these companies, I guarantee that if you've read comics for more than 5 minutes, I guarantee there's a book of his that you've read.
Yep, absolutely.
This guy helped build these companies. And they've given him no tribute whatsoever.
Where's MD Bright tribute? That's a good one.
Ridiculously.
Like what else we got?
Sorry, I'm emotional.
No, I mean, you're right. I mean, I'm glad that people brought that up.
I've been following this guy literally my entire comic book career.
Yep. So waiting for Mark. You got that? Saw that.
Dion Cole.
Yep. Got that.
I stand corrected. You're straight up. You're straight up disc pro. Thank you.
What else next?
I take pride in that. Battle Chasers equals Joe Madura. Okay. I have seen 3 other tributes to other deceased creators in the past couple of months. But no MD Bright.
Where's MD Bright tribute? That needs to be.
Why they hate MD Bright? I don't know.
Where's MD Bright tribute? Yep, like that too. MD Bright tribute, like that. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So you had some shows that you wanted to talk about.
So what is the segment called?
It is called. You're making me find the stuff that I can't find. What you watch?
So
we talked about tributes. Let's start with that.
Yep.
Marc and I are of a generation, men of a certain age, people of a certain age, that grew up in the 70s, before the internet, before DVDs, before VHS even.
Yep.
where if there was a show that you wanted to watch, everyone gathered around the television at the exact same time around the world to watch the exact same shows. And on Sunday nights, on I think it was ABC,
ABC.
there was a special sci-fi show that came out in 1978, a year after Star Wars had premiered. And that show was Battlestar Galactica. What made this show unique, first of all, is that they clearly were influenced by Star Wars and were trying to capitalize on the Star Wars trend. That's fine. But moreover, what made this show unique is it had a very positive portrayal of African Americans. There were two characters specifically. Oh man, I there was a picture I sent you. Damn, I wish I found it. Anyway, there's two characters. There was a Lieutenant Boomer, played by Herbert Jefferson Jr., and there was a Colonel Ty, played by Mr. Terry Carter.
Yeah,
And
why don't you pull them up real quick?
let me pull that up. Go ahead, Mark. You can talk about that.
So, as Paul was just saying, Paul and I are, a certain age that back in the 70s and 80s, you didn't have many positive depictions of Black folks, specifically Black males. Battlestar Galactica was a space opera about a ragtag group of humans who had been attacked by Cylons, who were the 70s equivalent of AI. And so they were the 12 tribes. It was kind of a Jewish allegory with the 12 tribes. The 13th tribe was the individuals who lived on Earth. And so their planets had been destroyed by AI, i.e., the Cylons, right? And so they loaded up on these spaceships and were trying to find safe haven. Their safe haven was going to be the 13th unknown tribe of planet Earth. So this was a military show. The Battlestar Galactica was the military ship, which was thought to be the last spaceship or battleship, right? But they were responsible for escorting all these civilian transports. So, because this was a military installation or a military uh, convoy, the military leader was Colonel Adama, Lauren Green, aka from not Big Valley, but
Bonanza.
right? He was in charge. His second in charge, right, was Colonel Ty, played by Terry Carter, who was there on the screen on the left. Terry Carter was 95 years old. Terry Carter died April 23rd, 2024. I didn't, I don't watch news, I don't watch TV like that or whatever, but I didn't see anything about his passing. And this was very significant because he played a very significant positive Black character when you didn't have that much of that on TV. Because think about it, in the 70s, you had What's Happening with Raj and the gang, who were high school students. You had That's My Mama with the dude who was a barber. There's nothing wrong with that. You had the Jeffersons, who, with George Jefferson being an entrepreneur, that was very positive. You had Sanford and Son, was a junk man. He was a businessman, but he literally lived in a junkyard. But you had Colonel Ty, who was a stoic, competent, professional military man who was the second in charge of this ragtag fleet, as the tagline went on that show. When the show was recreated in the 2000s, Colonel Ty was transformed into a white man. And Paul and I had this conversation when the show was recreated. I took issue. I actually wrote an op-ed piece online, being upset at the fact that they transformed this character from a positive Black man to a white dude, right? Now, ultimately, the remake of Battlestar Galactica was a good show. It really was. I'm not going to say otherwise. But I did not at the time like the fact how they got rid of these two positive black characters who were an integral part of my childhood. So I say all this to say Terry Carter died on April 23rd at the age of 95 years old. We want to give him his flowers. Terry Carter was a very special individual, and I don't know if he understood how he impacted many individuals of my generation. You may or may not know, but I am an Air Force veteran. I served 5 years in the United States Air Force. I'm not going to say Colonel Ty and Boomer were affected my decision to go into the Air Force, but I won't say that they didn't affect my decision to go into the Air Force. So RIP to Terry Carter. You're on mute, dude. Can't hear you.
Sorry, you got to understand, as Mark said, back then you didn't see too many positive images of black people in mainstream stuff, particularly in sci-fi. I mean, you had Nichelle Nichols on Star Trek, who was groundbreaking as a character.
One.
I beg your pardon?
One black person on that series.
Well, no, that's
Well,
not true.
She was the main character.
She was a good character.
On Battlestar Galactica, you had two black main characters.
Yeah,
right?
I mean that was unheard of to have two black male characters on a sci-fi show back then. And the show, there was no tokenism involved in these characters. There was no he's just the blackface guy who's there in the background. These were real characters.
There was no anything that made you think that he was anything other than he was not any DEI, as the white racist white folks like to say now.
Yeah.
He earned his role because of his competence and his abilities.
Right.
And yeah,
these characters had agency on the show. They were respected. Their race was not an issue.
Nope.
They represented by simply doing their jobs.
Yep.
And being honorable and respected. And that speaks so many volumes when you're a little kid and you see that.
Yep.
It was a major influence for me because I remember sitting down with my dad and watching that show every week. It was like our thing is to watch Battlestar Galactica. And I was always fascinated by, Colonel Ty and Boomer, who I used to always emulate when we used to play Battlestar Galactica. I was always Boomer. Even though he wasn't the main star of the show, he was my guy.
Yeah. I don't know if people really understand just how important representation in entertainment is. And, going back to 1977, 78, whenever the show was on, their representation was an extremely positive thing for young black boys like myself and Paul. Yeah. And the fact that, he lived a very long life at 95. And, I just want to give him his flowers and shout out to Terry Carter and Herbert Jefferson Walker. Jefferson.
Yeah, mad respect to the dude. Mad respect.
Yeah.
Hype Style says, salute to Terry Carter. Battlestar Galactica was a cool show in the era it came out. I remember acquiring some comics and one of the toys. I could never bring myself to watch the remake, really.
The remake was good. I'm not going to sit up here and lie.
It was good.
The remake was very good.
Once you realize it's a complete reimagining of the series.
Yeah.
And don't get too caught up in the race switching and gender switching of a lot of the characters, which was an issue for both me and Marc initially.
Yep.
It really was a phenomenal show. It was one of the best shows on television.
Listen, if you are of a certain age that you didn't come of age when Paul and I did, if you were, 30 or whatever the case may be, and this is your first introduction to Battlestar Galactica, it was a phenomenal show. The show for me and probably Paul as well was based on what we knew as kids. And that's somewhat unfair to the new show because, again, Colonel Ty and Boomer specifically were heroes of mine, at least.
Yeah.
But they changed, Colonel Ty into a white old dude. They changed Boomer into an Asian woman. Outside of that, though, the series was, excuse me, the new Battlestar Galactica series was very, very well done. It was very good.
It was.
But
It was literally at one time the best television show on TV.
But this is about Terry Carter. Shout out to Terry Carter. R.I.P. to him. Mad respect to him, his friends, and family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
All right. So you had some other shows that you wish for us to discuss.
Okay. So there's a show called Them the Scare.
Now, people are talking about this show. I hadn't even heard about it until I saw it on the internet. It's people talking about. What is the show about?
So about 20 years ago, there was a show called American Horror Story that dropped. It starred Dylan what was the dude's name from The Practice?
Dylan McDermott.
McDermott?
Yeah, Dylan McDermott.
Dylan McDermott. So American Horror Story has been on at this point for literally 20 years. What about American Horror Story is that each season is self-contained. So you can watch season 1 or season 5. You don't have to watch any of these seasons in between or whatever. But one of the interesting things about it is that you will have the same actors or actresses in each season, but playing different roles because it is a different storyline. And that was, I can't think of any show or series prior to this that did that, right? So I watched probably the first 3 to 5 seasons of American Horror Story. The guy who plays Quicksilver in X-Men, his name is Evan Michael. Is it Evan Peters? Evan Michael Peters?
Something like that.
Yeah. Matter of fact, he played Jeffrey Dahmer in Dahmer on Netflix. But that was my first introduction to him. He was in the first 3, 4, 5 seasons of American Horror Story playing different characters. Them is a series that is akin to American Horror Story. Season 1 was set in the late 50s, early 1960s America, where Deborah Ayalinde, how do you say that?
I don't know. I never watched it.
Okay, look in the chat that I sent you. I wrote her name. But Deborah plays in a series called Riches that is on Amazon Prime, and she played a character in the first season of Them as a housewife married to an individual who are a family unit who moved from North Carolina to California and lived in a completely all-white neighborhood. I watched the first 2 episodes of
Deborah Ayalinde.
Ayalinde, right. And I sent you a picture of her if you want to pull her up. I watched the first 2 episodes of Them season 1, and I had to stop because I don't like watching Black trauma porn, right? I'm tired of seeing us having to deal with American apartheid, the things that our ancestors had to go through as far as racism, prejudice, Jim Crow, etc. So I'm probably stopped after episode 2. But season 2 of this series is something completely and totally different. Season 2 is set in 1991. The connecting tissue is Deborah, the young lady who you see on the screen now. In season 1, she played a housewife, as I said, in 1950s, 1960s America. In 1991, she plays an officer in New York. I didn't mean that. In Los Angeles on Daryl Gates' police force. That's the police force that beat Rodney King, right?
What?
The series,
I said Rodney Barnes. Good God.
Lord bless your heart. Rodney King, the beating of Rodney King is one of the first viral events in American history. because a guy on his balcony watched Rodney King being beaten by the Los Angeles Police Department. Despite the video evidence that they beat Rodney King, the 4 officers involved, were acquitted of any wrongdoing. That's why there were riots in 1991. Deborah plays an officer or a detective, I should say, on that police force. This series involves not actual, but it involves true crime and a mysticism. She is investigating a series of murders that have occurred that seem supernatural or unnatural. And also, in addition to that, there is a character played by Luke Charles. Luke Charles played Johnny Gill in the New Edition miniseries on BET. Luke, is a aspiring actor, but he's kind of a weird dude, right? And pull up his picture, if you will, please. I sent you his picture. He plays an aspiring actor who may or may not turn into be a killer. He may or may not have any connection to the murders that Deborah's character is investigating. I'm going to tell you right now.
He looks like a killer to me.
Listen, let me tell you something. If he is not nominated for an Emmy and or Golden Globe, something is wrong. He is playing this character brilliantly. He's 40 years old, right? Most people who are listening to me right now have no idea who this dude is. He should be a bigger star than what he is. After his performance in the New Edition miniseries on BET, should have opened up many doors for him. Hopefully, this series will do so. I'm telling you, I cannot say enough good about him specifically in this role. I cannot say enough good about this series. If you have access to Amazon Prime, I highly recommend Them the Scares Season 2. As an aside, Pam Grier's fine ass is in this series as well. Yes, she's older or whatever, but she's still Pam Grier. As I'm talking, if you want to Google Pam Grier and pull her up so people can see who I'm talking about, I want you to understand Pam Grier was that chick of the 1970s, okay? Something I found out within the past 5 to 10 years is that Pam Grier used to date Richard Pryor. Pam Grier was the it girl. She was Pam Grier was the Nia Long of the 1970s. Would you agree or disagree?
I think she's more than that.
She was more than that. Yeah.
She's arguably also the very first woman action movie star.
I wouldn't say that. I don't know that I would go that far. But as far as black actresses, who would you compare her to? Sanaa Lathan, maybe? You know what? Listen, I want people to understand who Pam Grier is. A lot of people may not know who she was, but I'm going to Google some images of her. And I'm going to send them to you, Paul, in the chat so people can see who we're talking about. Because she had a series of blaxploitation roles that she played back in the day.
Good Lord. I mean, Coffee.
Jesus, what else?
iManifesto says Halle Berry.
No, Halle Berry is actually a pretty decent actress. I'm not going to say Pam was a good actress. She was a very good-looking woman.
Foxy Brown.
That's it. Yes. So there was a rapper back in the mid-90s called Foxy Brown. The name Foxy Brown.
It's so unusual that you have to explain that.
Right. Foxy Brown, the rapper, got her name from the movie that starred Pam Grier, right? And let's see here.
Friday Foster. Wow, another one.
Yeah, right. So Pam Grier got famous for starring in a series of blaxploitation movies of the 1970s. And I cannot find it, Paul, that I just saved. But why don't you, if you could, Google Pam Grier and pull up her picture so people can see who it is that we're talking about. But I say all that to say Pam Grier plays the mother to Deborah's character in the season 2 version. I cannot, I haven't watched the entire series. I've been pacing myself because I know that they all drop at the same time, and I believe it was 8 episodes. I am on episode, I think I finished all 3 episodes. I may very well be on episode 4. That's Pam Grier. Pull up the picture on the left if you could. Yeah, that one. Can you make it big?
It's big.
Let me just say this. Pam Grier was fine as hell. Pam Grier was that chick. Yeah, that one. Yeah. Now, the middle picture, that's Pam Grier, within the past 10, 20 years. In fact, she was in that Steven Seagal movie. I can't remember which one she was in, but she was in the Steven Seagal film, right? And she's a serviceable actress, but she was an absolute sex symbol back in the day.
Coffee and Friday Foster double feature on this 2 DVD set.
Yeah.
That'd be one to have.
Yeah. Just Google Pam Grier. What was the Quentin Tarantino movie? Jackie Brown.
Foxy Brown.
No.
Jackie Brown. Jackie Brown.
She was Jackie Brown. That is my least favorite Quentin Tarantino movie, but she was the star of that movie. Pam Grier was that chick, and she's in this series. But I say all that to say the series is an extremely good series. The action, the actor, the story is extremely well done. Highly recommend that you guys watch Them, the Scare season 2. And for Paul and I, there's a lot.
Cleopatra Jones is actually a different actress.
There's a different actress, right? There is music that's being played that Paul and I, during his college years, my Air Force years, were songs or music that would have been played when we went out or went to the club and stuff. It's nostalgic. It is very, very well done. Them, the Scare, highly recommend. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a 12.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Really, really enjoying it. And as I said, Luke Charles, he needs an Emmy and Golden Globe nomination. I said that old boy from Shogun deserves an Emmy and Golden Globe nomination.
I finally finished that series. That series was phenomenal. I love that movie, that love television series.
Shogun
was a great series. I enjoyed every episode.
Now, as I said, that dude, I can't remember his name. I apologize for that. But he deserves an Emmy and Golden Globe nomination for that. Luke Charles also deserves Emmy and Golden Globe consideration.
Yeah.
It is that good. Highly recommend Them, the Scare.
There was one other picture that you showed me that I wanted to share.
Yep.
Who's this?
So about 2 weeks ago, I was in my local comic book store, Titan Comics in Smyrna, Georgia. And there was a guy, and he looked at me, and he looked like he recognized who I was. And I'm like, hi, or whatever. And, I was getting my stack. And then
awkward guy staring at me in a very strange manner.
Right. And then come to find out that he does something with BCL. I don't know. I don't recall at this point what exactly it is that he does. But he is affiliated with this channel. And, Paul, you may very well know who he is or what it is that he does.
Yeah, that's Markellen Sigler. He's one of our BCL members on staff who helps us with some things.
Yep. Because when he saw me, he was like, hey. I'm like, hi. because I had no idea who he was. Extremely nice dude. We shop at the same comic book store, and I think that's Ultimate Black Panther #3
Yeah.
that we are holding.
That's a store. That's a store you took me to when I was up there.
Yes, when
Right, when we bought those boxes, the Black Panther short boxes.
That is correct.
Yeah, I still have those boxes.
I've got like a box full of them, actually. I got several of them. So yeah. So that's
All
it.
right.
So for those of you guys, I mean, we've been on screen now for about what, 3 hours?
3 hours and 15 minutes.
Yeah, about 3 hours.
It's a long
For
show.
those of you guys who have stuck with us, thank you very much. Before we get out of here, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. We appreciate the time that you have invested in us doing this. I do it for the fun. I'm not paid. I enjoy reading comic books. I enjoy talking about comic books. So thank you for joining us. And we will see you next time.
I would play the closing, but I can't find it. So yes, again, if you have not liked the video, please like the video, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to your channel. Doesn't cost you anything and helps you know when we're going to do these videos again in the future. Please share it. If you're on Twitter, you're on YouTube, please share the video, repost it so that we can get other people to watch us as well. We don't get paid to do this. The money that we get for doing this is used to pay for having the bandwidth to do this, pay for the platform, and pay for the website. We don't get to pocket any of that money. It all goes to us not having to pay out of our own pockets to keep this stuff going.
And get Bo Big's shirt.
Great. So thank you very much, and we'll see you all next time. Black Comic Lords, we got you.
Peace.